Jam's in the building. What's up, Jam? Welcome in. Welcome in, y'all. How y'all feeling today? The lovely QT is in the building. Welcome into the stream. Thank y'all so much for joining. Appreciate y'all being here. Let's change this over here real quick. Lee's in the building. What's up, Lee? Lee Lyrics, welcome into the stream. Y'all appreciate y'all tapping in. If y'all are coming in over on TikTok, then let me know where you're joining from. If you make music, let me know the kind of music that you make. Pixel, appreciate you tapping in. Lee, I'm doing well. It's been a great day. It's been very productive. We've been working. So it's in that sense, it's been great. It's been very productive. I feel like I've accomplished a lot today, which is always a good feeling. Is it Cruciati? Thank you so much for tapping in. I appreciate you being here. Thanks for joining the stream. For anyone coming in over on TikTok, just let me know where you're joining from. If you make music, let me know the kind of music that you make. Let me see. Hold on, let me double check a few things here. You're reviewing music. So we have two lanes here. I'll explain kind of in a bit more depth later on as well. But we have two lanes. One is a free line for just a quick review. It's just, up to 2 minutes of the song and then a quick note at the end. And then we have the consultation side, which is the 20 to 30 minute deep dive, long form breakdown, so on and so on. But all of that's at the link in my bio. I'll explain kind of the whole structure of everything here in just a second. Why does this keep doing this weird jump thing on here? I don't know what's going on. Alini, welcome in. Appreciate you being here. Gamer, welcome in as well. Is it Reba? Thanks for tapping into the stream. I appreciate you being here. DWTFO, thanks for joining the stream. Appreciate y'all tapping in today. Benz is in the building. What's up, Benz? Thank y'all for joining. Once again, I would love to know where y'all are joining in from. If you make music, what kind of music that you make. Lee said I make music and it's only ballads. Let's go. So we're like you're talking about like slower paced, dramatic music, stuff like that. That sounds awesome. I love me a good. I love the 80s, and I feel like the 80s was like the era of the ballad. 80s and 90s was now it's the era of like the stadium ballad, which is super fun. I appreciate y'all joining. How y'all feeling today? Welcome in, y'all. Welcome in. Anima, got you. I got you. I don't make music, but I do play drums on my phone, just like on a drum app or something like that. That's dope. One of the songs that I've written is only on YouTube is called T Lyrics We Don't Say. Okay, sounds good. Yeah, I think that's your submission. Thanks for tapping in. Is it S's? Thanks for trapping in. Sorry, I'm like reading the chat and trying to talk at the same time. Thanks for tapping in. Thanks for tapping in. Thanks for joining. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you coming into the stream today. How long have you been making trap music? Hamtronics in the building as well. Odds on, appreciate you joining as well. Welcome to the stream, y'all. I'll explain everything in just a couple minutes. We're just getting the different platforms. We're live on Twitch, YouTube, and TikTok right now, so I'm just getting the platforms up and running. It's going to be a short live today, so keep that in mind for anyone that's coming in. I'm only going to be live for maybe like an hour or two. Short and sweet. So as far as consultations and stuff goes, that's going to be concise. It's going to be very, very, very concise as far as the amount of people that we take over there before I close the lines. Rose, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Thank you for the follow. If you're all on TikTok, do me a huge favor too. Make sure y'all are tapping the screen, share out the live with a few people. Don't forget to send your harmony. It does really help out the live stream quite a bit. And we'll get moving with some music here in just the next couple minutes. We'll get some things rolling here. But yeah, if y'all are coming in for the first time, I'd love to learn a little bit more about y'all, talk a little bit about the kind of music that you make, what you're doing within the structure of your music, what role you play in your music, stuff like that. Rio, welcome in. I appreciate you joining the stream. Canister, Braden, appreciate y'all joining as well. Hope y'all are doing amazing today. Let's see. SK, appreciate you joining. How y'all feeling today? Doing good. How are you? I'm doing well. It's been a busy day. I've been working through productions all day, so it's been fun. Some revision stuff that I've been working through. So it's been a very productive day. We've been working for pretty much since earlier this morning, straight through working through projects and stuff like that. Finally, closed the door on a couple of those, finished some revisions, sent them off to clients, and so now I'm hopping on stream for an hour or two, and hopefully gonna listen to some great music. I'm excited to get into it in just a little bit. Nina, how's it going? Appreciate you tapping in. I'm doing great. Yeah, doing great. It's been a very productive day. I feel like I've accomplished a lot. I feel like I've checked a lot of boxes and cleared a lot of tabs in my brain today, which is always it's always nice. It's always nice to have a day where I feel like the tabs are getting cleared because they stack up. They add up quite a bit. Listen to my band single. I would love to. Yeah, everything's at the link in my bio. Of course, there's 2 lanes, and I'll explain it here in just like a minute or 2 minutes or something like that. Just waiting for all the algorithms or whatever, all the different platforms to kick on here in just a second. But there's 2 lanes you can go to. There's an up to 2 minute listen that's free. If you want that, it's up to 2 minutes of your song. We'll just give a quick note at the end if that'd be valuable. Or there's the full consultation side, which is a 20 to 30 minute long form breakdown. That's a deep dive where we'll go back through your song 2 or 3 different times. I'm only going to take a handful of those today. So it's only going to be, just a handful of people that we're able to get through those. So we'll get a few things rolling here in a second. I'll explain kind of the whole structure of the live stream, and then we will dive into the music. Contact Chris, welcome in. I appreciate you being here. Angela, welcome in as well. Appreciate you tapping in. But just keep in mind as people start saying stuff in the chat, we are not listening to popular artists. This is for like underground, independent artists, producers, musicians, session musicians, vocalists, songwriters, engineers, so on and so on. So if you make music or you in some way are connected to the music making progress, that's what this live stream is for. We're not here to play. We're not here to play like popular artists or anything like that. Busy getting. Welcome up. Welcome up. I can't read, y'all. I can't. I feel like my brain's not working today. Like I said, I've been feeling super accomplished today because I got so much done, but I think that also fried my brain. So I'm having a hard time. Anima, thank you so much for the follow. I really appreciate that. Thank you for tapping in on the Purple app. I see you. I appreciate you. Thanks for joining over there. Sandy, welcome in. I appreciate you joining the stream as well. We're gonna get rolling here in just a second. Brent is in the building. What's up, Brett? Appreciate you tapping in. Dead Failure, welcome in. Simi's in the building. Batch, welcome in. Thanks so much for joining, y'all. Appreciate you being here. I probably have April Rain. Thank you for the follow. I probably have heard, but I'm not positive. We listen to a lot of different music, a lot of different styles, a lot of different genres, languages, regions, and stuff like that. So differently, like culturally impactful music. It's going to be a very, very variety packed playlist of things that we're going through today, as far as the styles that people send in, so on and so on. It's gonna be all over the place. But we love all styles of music. This is not like a bias live where we're just going through a particular style or a style that I just like, and I'm trying to tell you if your song is hype or not. That's not really the structure of what we do here. Stay Golden's got a song on Spotify. Let's go. Brett, we literally just hopped on. So it's pretty fresh. I'm seeing some notifications come in, some people that are getting in there. And Mariella, thank you so much for the follow. But everything's at the link in my bio. Give me just 30 seconds here and I'll explain the whole live stream for anybody that would be interested in submitting. But Brett, yeah, we just hopped on literally, a couple minutes ago, just getting things rolling here. Thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate that a lot. Let's see. Let me refresh over here and make sure that I've got everything connected, and then I'll go ahead and explain. The live stream. Miranda, thank you so much for the heart me. I appreciate it. Thanks for tapping in. Good to see you. All right, let's see. All right, let's get into it, y'all. Let's get into it. Let me go ahead and get some things rolling here. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate that a lot. For those of you who have never been here before, welcome to Track Talk. Welcome to the family. Welcome to the live stream. I'm just going to let you know right off the bat that it is going to be a shorter stream today. We've been trying to, after I finish all my work for the day, my projects and session stuff in the studio, I've been trying to get on for like 4 hours. Like yesterday was 4.5 hours. It's not going to be that today. It's going to be short and sweet. So if you want to submit, I would do that sooner than later just because I'm not going to be on for very long. So your chances to be able to do that are going to be a little bit slimmer. But for those of you who have never been here before, welcome to Track Talk. I'm glad you're here. Thanks for taking some time at all out of your day to listen to music, submit music, whatever it may be, chat with people, network, collaborate, whatever it may be. I appreciate y'all being here so much. There's 2 lanes that we do here, and I'll explain both sides. One is very brief. We have a free line, and that free line is an up to 2 minute listen and a quick note at the end. It's very, very simple, very, very clean cut right there. We'll listen to up to 2 minutes of your song and give you a quick note on on the structure of your music. The other side of that lane, which is the paid side of that lane, are 20 to 30 minute multiple listen consultations on the structure of your music. On that side, like I said, we listen to the song multiple times, usually 2 or 3 different times, to really get into the details of the mix and master, production elements, sound design, lyric, and song formatting, getting into the details and the nuances of what you're doing both creatively and practically within the structure of your music. That is not a quick review. There's no trash or pass, there's no ratings, there's no polls. That is a long-form, detailed consultation on the structure of what you're doing within your music. Once again, like I mentioned this earlier, this is for artists and producers and session musicians and songwriters and vocalists and engineers. This is not for popular artists or anything like that. Also, keep in mind that nothing is submitted in the chat. If you want to submit, everything is at the link in my bio. Miranda, thank you for the Go Populars. I appreciate that a lot. Everything's at the link in my bio. That's where you'll submit either for, either one of the lives, either for the long form detailed consultation side or the up to 2 minute listen on the free line. It's also where you'll check the queue. If you want to see the queue, you want to see where you're at. But like I said, keep in mind, it's going to be short and sweet today. So we're not going to be on for very long, but don't submit in the chat. Don't submit in the chat. Chris, I got you. Appreciate you so much, Chris. Thanks for joining. I appreciate the consultation, man. We'll get into that here in just a moment. For those of you who don't know, my name is Torvik. I'm a full-time audio engineer, producer, and session musician. That is what I do for a living. It's what I've done for the last 14 plus years. I'm also a classically trained pianist. I play keys for most of my life since I was 6 years old. So that is kind of the structure and the perspective of the live here. I'm not here, like I said before, I'm not here to roast you. I'm not here to trash you. I'm not here to, tear you down. I'm also not really here to hype you up. I'm not here to get you exposure. If the algorithm does something cool and you get eyes and ears on your music, beautiful. I love it. I'm very happy that happened. So it's not my priority. It's not the way that the stream is structured. The goal, especially on the consultation side, is to offer as much long-form detailed value as possible and really get into the details of your music. There's a couple people that keep spamming the chat with the same thing that I've addressed probably 4 or 5 different times right now. So if you are submitting your music in the chat, it's not going to get heard there. There's a whole process that keeps the line organized, keeps everybody in order, makes everything really seamless for everybody involved. Caleb, thank you for the follow. RLGN, the kid, thank you for the follow as well. Hark, thank you for the follow. I really appreciate it. Thank you all so much for the love, for the support. But yeah, if you would like to submit, once again, free line is up to a 2 minute listen and then move from there. Alexandra, thank you so much for the follow. And if you want the consultation side, those are the 20 to 30 minute detailed breakdowns. Nate One, thanks for the follow. All right, let's get straight into some music. Like I said, I don't have a ton of time. Each of those breakdowns, like I already mentioned, those consultation breakdowns are long. They're detailed. They take about 20 to 30 minutes a piece, and we're only going to be on for like an hour to 2 hours. So I'm going to take like a handful of songs today, y'all. Like I said, yesterday I'm going to go ahead and mute because I have addressed this so many times, and you're driving me nuts. Mute entire live. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. All right, we're starting to get things rolling here. So let me get a couple things updated. It's crazy how many times you got to say something before people get it. But either way, let's get into some music. I can't submit. Can you help me? Go to the link in my bio. So go to my profile. Make sure you go all the way to my profile. You have to tap the name twice typically, so it doesn't just pop up. But you go all the way to the profile. There's a link tree there. At the link tree, you'll see a tab that says submit your music. You can also see the queue there as well. Just go there, and you'll see everything that you need to submit. The whole process right there. If you're sending in a file, you're sending in a link, a Spotify, YouTube, SoundCloud, doesn't matter to me. Wave, MP3, drive file, whatever. Everything is right there. It should be really organized and keep everything there. You can also see the queue there. So if you want to see the queue, see where you're at, go faster, whatever you want to do, all of that's right there as well. If for any reason, I'll say this as well, if for any reason you can't see the link or something like that, that is typically just a regional issue. I don't have like any detailed reason why necessarily that happens, but it's usually a regional issue. And so in that sense, if you can't see the link, then go over to Instagram. It's the same name, Torvik Music, and you'll be ready to go. Andrew Padilla, so hey, I submitted my song yesterday, but I had to leave the live due to rehearsal. Do I have to resubmit? I didn't see a submission from you yesterday. Let me see. I can pull up the session. Let me see. Unless it was in the free line. If it was in the free line, then yeah, you need to resubmit it. Yeah, if it was on the free line, you have to resubmit it. Because there was like 35 submissions yesterday, so it'd be back in a different session. Yeah, that way can get it in the same line there if that's where you're wanting it. All right, let's get into it. Because there's no guarantees with that one, just because there's so many submissions there. There's typically anywhere from like 25 to 50 submissions over in that lane. So depending on the length of the live stream and stuff like that. There's already I haven't even heard the first song. There's already 9, so that's where those start to fill up a little bit. Anyways, let's get into it. Let's get into it. We got Everything I Am by Chris Schindler right in the building. Oh, we got Chris Schindler in the building. Let's go. Sorry, I'm like reading the names and looking at stuff for the first time as we're kind of getting into the music here. Once again, everything's at the link in my bio if you want to submit. If you're on the purple app, you can type !submit right there in the chat. If you're on the red app, you can go to the description for the live stream and you'll see everything that you need right there. We got Chris in the building. Chris, hop in the chat. Let me know that you're here, and let's get into our first song of the day. This is Everything That I Am by Chris. This is out on Spotify already, so we're going to go ahead and pull it up there and get things rolling. Chris, thank you so much for joining. I appreciate you submitting. Let's dive into some music. Anything. I've heard your song recently, but anything, or different song, but anything that you want me to know, anything else you want the chat to know, let us know. Drop it in the chat, and let's get into it, man. Let's get into it. Beautiful organ in the back. Dom's in the building. What's up, Dom? What's up, man? Good to see you.
Take everything you want and need. You know you're always on my mind. I can feel it all the second time around. Before my feet can hit the ground, you know my faith in you is easy. I owe you everything that I am.
Zay, thanks for the follow. Absolutely, Ishi. Any genre. Thank you, Brett. Thank you for the follow. Smooth. Marty, thank you for the follow. Everything's at the link in my bio if you want to submit. Yeah, absolutely. Instrumental, full song, voice memo, unmixed, doesn't matter. It's been fine for me, Don. It's been fine for me. I'm not sure. It could be Twitch.
Take the fear stuck in your head. I try and conquer them in time.
Great mix.
You know you're always on my mind.
Both vocals are great too.
I can feel it all the second time around. Before my feet can hit the ground. You know
Link in bio, Alexandra. Link in bio. Don't submit in the chat. Good push. Really nice mix on this song. It's a really warm, organic, natural sounding mix. Let's get into it, man. Y'all, please show some love to Chris excuse me, Chris Schindler and Vivi McCracken, I believe, is the other artist that we heard on the song as well. Alexandra, if you say that in the chat again, you are going to get muted. I don't want you to get muted, but either myself or the mods are going to have to mute you. I've said it a whole bunch of times, but I need y'all to listen. If you do want to submit music, it's at the link in my bio. You don't submit here in the chat. No, you're good. You're good. And I know sometimes when the song is playing, it's harder to hear too. I don't want y'all. I want y'all to be able to connect. I want y'all to be able to talk to people and engage. So I don't want you to get muted by someone in the chat as well. If you would like to submit, either just for the free line to get up to 2 minutes of your song played, or the deep dive, long form, detailed consultations that we're doing for a lot of the artists in here as well. Those are all at the link in my bio. Everything's at the link in my bio. All right, let's get into it. We got Chris Schindler in the building with Vivi McCracken on the feature there as well. Let's dive into some music. Howlermouth, the legend, in the building. So good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well. Welcome into the chat. But yeah, once again, if y'all want to submit, like I said, I'm going to take a handful of songs today, so we got room for just a few on the list. If you want to submit, I would do it now. We got, maybe an hour and a half left of the live, ish. So if you want to submit, make sure you go to the link in my bio and you see everything that you need to do right there. Do you want to review a post-hardcore email? 100%. Yeah, I would love to. We get a ton of different variety in here. A lot of different variety as far as like style, genre, technique, quality, releases unreleased, mixed, unmixed, so on and so on. We got people here that have, been producing for 2 months on BandLab. We got people that have won Grammys. It's going to be all over the place. So yeah, you don't have to worry about like trying to prove yourself in a sense. We're here to talk about the music. We're here to break it down. So no matter what the style, what the genre, what the level of quality is, that's what we're here to do, and that's what we'll do every time. That's what we've done for the last 3.5 years that we've been doing these consultations here on the live stream. But y'all, show some love one more time to Chris. Chris, you're amazing, man. It's the second song I believe that I've heard from Chris. Fantastic quality, good musicianship, great quality as far as like the mixing structure. It's balanced, it's wide. It still feels like modern and bright and open, but also very organic and really natural. Nothing is really feeling overproduced or oversuppressed in the mix. It sounds really, really well done. Porch, thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. Let's run it from the top as we always do, and let's get into the details. Once again, that's Everything I Am by Chris and Vivi. The song is out on all platforms, so if you like what you hear, if this is something you would want to engage with, you can go to whatever DSP that you like, go stream it, go like it, go add it to your playlist, go follow on DSPs, follow them here on social media as well. He was in the chat a little minute ago. Let's dive into some details here, but this is beautifully done. Beautifully, beautifully done. Let's run it from the top. Everything I Am by Chris Schindler. Also love that low pickup on the organ right there. The organ sounds beautiful. It's got such a beautiful roll and warble and shimmer at the top of the mix. It's such a great addition to that mid and the high mids right there. It's such a nice, bright, open sound. Beautifully, beautifully done. Even just those little rolls moving up, those like palm swipes and everything moving up are just tastefully and beautifully done. Dan the Band in the building. What's up, Dan the Band? Good to see you, brother. Thank you for the heart me as well. I appreciate that. All right, let's run it from the top. Chris, you're awesome, man. I really like what you do. Like even just this intro, right? Like this intro right here already to me feels like the intro to like a, late 90s, early 2000s, like old, like it's like reminding me of like some film, like, period film for like high school or college age or something like that. I don't know. The thing that's coming to mind is like the remake of The Parent Trap. I don't know why. That's what's happening. But that's kind of like what I'm imagining of like that era of film. It's super fun. And I feel like it's executed really well. Like these intros are great for film intro as well. I think you're doing a fantastic job. Sounds good, Jackson. Let's go. Appreciate you tapping in. The 80s track yesterday was amazing. Appreciate how near lives. Thank you, man. The music has been amazing. Lately, the quality. And again, I also love it when it's like raw and it's rough and we got to work on some stuff. But man, I would say the last couple days of the live stream have been some really, really talented producers, really talented musicians and songwriters and artists, and it's been fun, man. It's been fun to hear. Like this is nice. This is nice. Jackson, I got you. Stevens, I got you as well. Thank you so much.
Take your light and shine on me. Take everything you want and need. You know you're always on my mind. I can feel it all the second time around. Before my feet can hit the ground.
This is a really good excuse me. I think we've talked a little bit about this before. This is a really good example of making sure that elements within your mix are tracked appropriately and that they fill out the stereo field appropriately. On a lot of different records, depending on the structure of the drums, depending on how the percussion is recorded, in this case, this is all live instrumentation. We got a real like Hammond B3 organ in the background. We've got live track drums with room mics and overheads. We got the whole thing here, right? In this case, though, we have a singular mono acoustic guitar in the middle of the mix. Nothing wrong with that at all. But depending on how you structure the rest of your production, that can feel small. That can feel kind of limited. It can feel like a little bit of your, or a lot of your song structure is kind of shrunk down. A lot of your like mix structure is shrunk down of too many of the elements. If like your kick, if your overheads aren't really wide, your kick, your snare, your lead vocal, and the acoustic guitar and the bass are all just in mono right here, it can make the mix feel like it's collapsed a little bit. But in this case, we have a really beautiful sounding acoustic guitar, but it's in mono and it's right down the middle. And they've contrasted that with a really nice wide, I mean, it's a very roomy, wide mix on the drums as well. You have great direct mics, but you also have really clean, bright, clear stereo overheads that are pushed, 80 to 100% out to the side. So the drum structure feels really wide. If it didn't, then this mix would sound really small, and it doesn't at all. It's right off the bat, it feels really, really clean, even without a lot of other production elements in here. Because again, it's largely hats, kick, snare for the percussion structure so far. You got a bass underneath, you got lead vocal in mono, and you have the guitar in mono. And because all of that is happening right here in the middle of the mix, there is that potential for this mix to feel collapsed and for it to feel really small. And it doesn't. It doesn't at all. It feels nice and wide. But this is a great example of just tasteful engineering, where if the drums felt too small, then this whole mix just would feel like it's lacking a lot of energy and vibrance. But what you'll hear, and this might not come through on TikTok, but it's coming through on my end, and it might on the other platforms a little bit better too. Hopefully it does. But the drums are really wide. They're really vibrant. The overheads are tracked beautifully. They're very, very well structured. They're perfectly like in phase. Everything is really cohesive. Nothing is kind of getting canceled out. You're not getting any weird phasing or anything like that. It's this great engineering. It's good tracking, good playing, and it's good engineering as well. Yeah, everything's at the link in my bio. I'll actually be closing the lines fairly quickly here because we already got a bunch of people pouring in. In fact, I think we're not even halfway through listening to the first song, and there's already 14 submissions on the board. So I gotta close things quick. Anyways. I appreciate you being able to share this information, man. Love being able to learn. Thank you, man. I feel the same about you, man. I appreciate that a lot. Let's go a little deeper here. But anyways, that's the first little catch here of just good, thoughtful engineering of keeping in mind how these different elements are going to be positioned, how they're going to be perceived by the audience, and making sure that there's no elements of this mix that are lacking energy or lacking vibrancy.
Know my faith in you is easy. I owe you everything that
Look at these split.
I owe you everything I am. I owe you everything I am.
And then balanced by beautiful wide chorusing on the organ in the background. The piano is gorgeous too. I mean, a lot of these, these little like high melodies on the piano are just they're soft, they're textural, they have a lot of character. They're very highly compressed. You can kind of feel the ceiling that's being hit by the piano, but I love the way it pops in the mix. It gives it this really nice pop in the mix that I think is beautifully done.
All the years of photographs
nice.
we find, like vinyl records, we keep skipping through time. I can hear
Great secondary vocal here too. I think both of y'all's vocals work really, really well together. The harmony structure is so seamless. It's really, really beautifully structured. But both of y'all's vocals, it's a great combination right here. They sound really cohesive together. They're not fighting for space in the middle of the mix at all. It's a really, really nice feature for the song.
it echo through my mind.
Very easy listen. There's those beautiful, we talked about this a lot yesterday actually, of having a lot of space in the production structure. Like in this case, dun, 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 super simple, right? Dun, 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 dun. Like a lot of the structure is like very, very simple. As far as like progression goes, there's not a ton going on. But what they've done beautifully on the musician side, as well as a lot of the production structure side, is making sure that in between the resolve of the vocal lines, there's really good, clean counter melodies from either the guitar, in this case, the piano, like this kind of really nice felt upright piano is handling a lot of those interludes in between. And it gives you these nice textures of like having most of the progression here and then these really nice melodies over the top, and they just do a beautiful job of bridging these gaps so that the energy doesn't die off. It's really, really, really well done. So let me back it up here just a second. But again, especially when we get a record in here that's just, it's very tastefully done, and it's done by professionals, people that have paid a lot for studio time, session musicians, great producers, vocal producers, obviously great engineers in this case as well. When people have done it, I just want to showcase what they're doing, because sometimes it's easy to just say it's dope, it's good. Let's not even talk about anything. It's so good. Let's move on to the next song. You don't need any help. Move on to the next song. But one of the things I've been passionate about since we started this live stream is when we're encountering people that are doing this at a very high level, whether or not they have the exposure to back it up yet, but when they're doing it at a high level, they are working with professionals and they're doing things really well. I want to showcase what that is and how it impacts the mix and how it impacts the production structure here too. But those counter melodies in there are the reason why I talk about that all the time. It helps maintain the energy and the vibrancy of the mix, even when the vocal is not in play anymore. Let's see, Nathan Stevens. I messed up on my upload. The song name is Roadkill. Artist name is Nathaniel Stevens. Okay, you're good. Remind me when we get to your song, if you can keep the list pulled up. Remind me when we get to the song, and I'll try to make sure that I get the right name and everything in there as well. Okay, let's run it back. Just a couple seconds here, but listen for those counter melodies on the piano. They're beautifully done. They're tasteful. It's like you don't even necessarily know that they're there, but it really does keep the song from dying energetically. And just those da 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 da, a little walk up right there. It's so subtle, it's so tasteful, but your brain doesn't tune out at all. It keeps the energy, keeps your attention, and obviously that's going to help with your replay value. All right, let's go a little deeper into the song. But Chris, this is amazing, man. This 2 songs I've heard from you now. All of them are fantastic production quality. All of them are fantastic execution on the musician side. Great engineering, like I said, very tasteful decisions on the engineering side to make sure that all this works well together. Gumbo's in the building. What's up, legend? Good to see you, man. It's been a while since I've seen that name, so thank you for tapping in. Thank you for the heart me as well. Thank you so much for hopping in today. Zach, thank you for joining. Happy streaming, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate the love. Thanks for showing face, man. I appreciate that a lot. Torvik is showing passion and love toward the education of the future. Thank you, man. I appreciate it more than you know. Thank you for the love. Skinart, thank you for the follow as well. Hold on fire, I got you as well. Piano's beautiful. Jackson, thank you for the follow. Thank you for the follow, y'all. Appreciate it. All right, submissions are closed already.
Take the fear stuck in your head. I'll try and conquer them in time.
No, you're always on my mind.
I can feel it all the second
So good. So good, so good.
before my feet can hit the ground. You know my faith in you.
All right, let me get into this last section here. But man, please show some love to Chris Schindler, who's right here in the chat as well. It's so good, and that's the thing. Yeah, exactly, Chris. Man, of course, man. I'm always want to give that detail because to me, it's one of the things. That to me is the most. I wish I had that. I wish that, like, for me growing up as a musician. Again, for most of you who don't know, I've done music my whole life. So I played drums since I was 4, classically trained pianist and keys player since I was 6 years old, guitar since I was 8. Taught myself how to use Pro Tools on my own at 12 years old. Before that, I was recording on floppy disks on a Clavinova. Like, I've done music my whole life, and I wish when I was listening to records that were well done, that someone would have been there to, like, tell me why it was good, or like, and not just stylistically, and not just like objectively, or subjectively within like the art and the style and the creativity and stuff like that. For me, I wish I had someone who was there to be like, you hear this thing, that one of the reasons why you're enjoying this aspect of this mix or this aspect of what the guitar is doing is because of these elements in the mix. And so I'm, no matter if the song is really well structured and well done, and there's nothing to critique necessarily, I always want to make sure that we're able to showcase as well and show flowers and give flowers where it's earned as far as the quality of a record and stuff like that too, man. So man, all the love in the world to Chris. You're amazing, man. It's really, really, really well done. Thank you so much, Miranda. Appreciate it. Great little push right here. Beautiful. There's that organ. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Y'all, please show some love to Chris. Love and appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for saying that. And Dima, thank you so much for tapping into the stream as well. As of this song, we in the middle of our first song, we've already closed the line, like I said. Ton of other projects and stuff that I was working on earlier today. So a little bit of a shorter stream today. I'll be back on Friday. I won't be live tomorrow, but I will be back live on Friday. So on Friday, we'll do a longer live. We'll do 4 or 5 hours. We'll open it up like crazy. We'll get a ton of people in here. I was closing up and starting some new projects today. So I'm trying to keep that a little bit more concise. So the stream is shorter today for those of you who are wanting to submit. Just make sure that you're following. We still have another hour and a half of like really, really amazing music we got to get to. So definitely keep hanging out. But we'll open up the lines again on Friday. But thank you all so much for joining. I really appreciate it. Chris, all love to you as well. Yes, so that's what I do. For those of you who don't know, quick spiel, but my name's Torvik. For those of you who maybe are just joining. But I'm a full-time audio engineer, producer, and session musician. That's what I do for a living. Been doing that for about 14 plus years now. And before, even like within those early days of like producing and stuff too, I was doing a lot of like live sound engineering and stuff before that as well. But y'all show some love to Chris. Chris, I appreciate what you do so much. Let's keep it rolling here. We're moving at a good pace. We got Dead and Spent by Hold On Fire in a Building. This is on Spotify. Let me read through. Let's read through the thing here so I can move at a good pace here. But we got this is gonna be Andrew right here in the chat. So Andrew, let me know where you're at. Let's go live. Do you like FL Studio? I have FL Studio, but I don't use it, or I very rarely use it. I use Pro Tools. I've been using Pro Tools since I was 12, 13 years old, so I've just stuck with it. I've done it a lot of different times, or I've done a lot, what am I saying? I've used a lot of different DAWs, Ableton, FL, Studio One, Logic, Pro Tools, obviously a lot of different DAWs for a lot of different reasons, depending on depending on kind of what I was doing. But I currently just do everything in Pro Tools. It's the easiest for me to just stay all in one box. So whether I'm tracking, producing, mixing, I toss everything in there. FL Studio is so easy for mix and master records, affects everything. Yeah. I mean, some people love it. Some people hate the workflow. I love playlisting and comping in Pro Tools, Studio One, and Logic. It's the best. Tracking into Edison and doing live instrumentation in FL Studio is kind of a nightmare, especially earlier on, unless you're doing a lot of other stuff. But if you are doing a lot of mixing and mastering, you're doing a lot of comping, you're doing a lot of playlisting, you're tracking live stuff. So I have 15 analog synths in here. I've got guitar cab over here, guitar amps, bass amps. I've got live drums over, stuff like that. So when you're doing a lot of like live tracking like that, or in the case of like using drums, tracking everything kind of all at the same time, then I just prefer, everyone has their preference. There's not a right or wrong answer. But I prefer the comping, playlisting, and live tracking interfaces for Pro Tools, Studio One, and Logic. Okay, let's get into it. We got Hold On Fire in a Building. Our brand new single, Dead and Spent, is officially out now, and we're honored to share that it features Dan Marsala of Story of the Year. This song is part of our upcoming Half Alive EP that drops July 6th. That is in 5 days. Let's go. Take a listen and let us know what you think in the comments. Recorded at Diver Down Studios, produced by Fred Mascarino and Stephen Angelo, mixed and mastered by Stephen. Artwork by Cameron. Let's go. Special thanks to Dan for being a part of this song. This meant everything. Let's get into it, man. Let's get into it. Yeah, there's no rules. There's no rules. Like there's Grammys that have been won on every DAW you can possibly think of, including free ones. There's someone out there on Cakewalk and Reaper that has plaques on the wall. So there's no rules to it. Just do what makes sense to you. Use an interface that allows you to be efficient and creative. Those are the two things that I would focus on. Can you be somewhat efficient, and can you be creative? Like, what barriers do you have to having your creative decisions hit the speakers? You know what I mean? That's the thing. And for me, if I was to try to switch it up and, let me, head over here to it, even though I've used and work in a lot of different DAWs, like for me, it's like I've used Pro Tools for 18 years now. I don't, I have no desire to switch out of that just for an efficiency and creative standpoint. I'm just very familiar. Someone use Audacity or just an iPhone. Facts, dude. 100%. Hip hop beat making, great in FL Studio, and you can stretch it to any genre it's designed for. Yeah, 100%. FL Studio and Ableton, I think, for if you're doing a lot of, Panda, thanks for the follow, MIDI programming, sample manipulation, like piano roll stuff, FL Studio and Ableton are probably going to be your best bet. That's not the vast majority of what I do, although I do a lot of MIDI stuff, even with the analog synths. Like I'm still doing a lot of MIDI stuff, but for the most part, like if you're doing a lot of live stuff, then it kind of just depends on what you're looking to do. Crane, so good to see you. Thanks for tapping in. Let's get it, man. This is Dead and Spent by Hold on Fire. Let's keep it rolling. Let's keep it rolling. This song is out. Go stream it. Go like it. Go add it to your playlist. That's sick, Marty. I love it. All right, we're about to get some a shift in energy here going into this song. Let's get into it.
Whatever was is what you want me to say. Figure the lies made a metaphor would keep them in disarray. Distant figure in the night kept me closer all this time. Little pieces of myself gave the way out in this fight. But I knew, digging deep into the know you wrote down. Write it down within your soul. Watch me go and throw it all away. Is this the love you asked for? Just hope along the swallow that
Exactly.
tread down the same as before.
Thank you for the roses. Appreciate it.
Deep down this rabbit hole, is there a place you would call mine? Although knowing you will be left to conquer and divide. Leveling the playing field, becoming clearer to survive. Tragedy comes and goes, but know that love comes back to life. Watch me go and throw it all away. Is this the love you asked for? Just hope along the
Thank you so much, Dan. Appreciate you, man.
down the same as before. Too late
Thank
to
you, brother.
break the fall. So watch me go.
Let's go, John. Welcome in. John, what do you do? Hey! Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Will I be dead and spent? Will I feel better than I did? Through all the discontent, and after time well spent, will I be better in the end?
Love it.
Watch me go and throw it all away. Is this
Shout out to the
love
triangle.
you asked for? Just hope
Love the dynamics of this.
swallow me,
Super broad.
tread down the same as before. Get up, break the fall. Watch me go and throw it all away. Watch me go and throw it all away. Is this the love you asked for? Just hope along the swallow me, tread down the same as before. Get all too late
Fry
to
is great.
break the fall. So watch me go and throw it all away, all away. If you ask again, will I be dead and spent? Will I feel better than I did? Watch me go and throw it all away.
Killer. Those high riffs are beautiful. This is like what this is apparently y'all have been used in some prompts, but y'all show some love to John right here in the chat, one of the writers, as well as playing the guitar, and we got the family, Andrew Padillo, in the chat as well. Thank you so much for sending it in. Absolutely beautiful. For those of you asking, the line is closed. We'll be live again on Friday, shorter live today, so I'm keeping it concise as far as how many submissions we're taking. We've been taking 4 times this many submissions before, but I got to keep it a little bit tighter. Y'all are amazing. Y'all are amazing. Fantastic quality. I mean, Andrew, you know I love what you do. I've heard plenty of your work in the past. Y'all are so talented. John, you're an absolute beast on the guitar, man. Really great tone, really great texture, great positioning, everything that you're doing, man. It sounds really, really fantastic. I have one note on the mix side. One note on the mix side. Again, some of this is a taste thing. Some of this is just everyone's got kind of a different perspective. But having just, I listened to so many records, just day after day after day. I'm listening to 40, 50 different records, depending on what I'm listening to. The only thing that in this mix for me is the bass. The bass to me takes over a little bit. Now it sounds good. I mean, it's a powerful, punchy. It's driving well. It's nice and weighty. But to me, the bass kind of takes over. In my opinion, it's like probably 3, maybe even 4 dB too loud. And what it's doing is it's kind of drowning out the lead vocal a little bit and the fry screams in the background. It's dry. It's overwhelming. I think there's at least 3 or 4 guitar layers. We have like a double track rhythm section and then some lead mutes and stuff like that are over the top. Those are panned left. There's a couple different elements in there that are kind of stacked up, and that bass kind of drowns those out. So a lot of what you actually like distinguish in the mix is I hear the drums and I can kind of hear the vocal tucking in, especially over the hook. Verses are a little bit easier. There's just less information there. But I don't really feel sometimes the energy of the rhythm guitars, especially as we get into the hook and a little bit later on in the song. I feel a lot of this like 150 hertz and below that I'm feeling in the bass. A lot of that woofiness and that big buildup right there at the bottom end of the track. I would love for that to be maybe a little bit more cleaned up. Maybe some of that 150, 200 range dipped down. Maybe the bass 2 dB quieter. Because I don't think necessarily, based on what I'm hearing here, at least in my imagination, I don't necessarily think that the vocal needs to be louder. I just think there needs to be more space for it. Now, all of that being said, I want to get that out of the way. Get that out of the way because it sounds awesome. It's performed so well. The tone is fantastic. Musicianship is absolutely amazing. I mean, this is a tight, well-structured, high dynamic song executed by people that are pros at the craft. So yeah, I mean, y'all are doing an absolutely fantastic job. So I don't want to like sit there for too long. All of that to say is I kind of wish I had more clarity from the vocal. I wish I heard that vocal structure and the rhythm guitar structure better. I think it gets kind of muddied up by the bass there. Just by a hair. But even that, I think it sounds fantastic. Let's run it from the top. Let's dive in. If there's anything else, we'll break it down a little bit, man. Y'all deserve flowers. I love what y'all do. I think tonally it sounds fantastic. Y'all are doing a fantastic job. There's nothing to it. Let's run it from the top. Dead and Spent just came out. Hold on Fire with Dan. Let's dive in. Let's dive in. Just great tone across the board.
Is what you want me to say. Figure the lies made a metaphor would keep the
Of course, Sean. I appreciate y'all.
Distant figure in the night, catch me closer.
It's like even right there, it comes in real. Now, again, I want to keep this in mind too. It sounds sonically, I know this is a hard thing to distinguish sometimes, but sonically it sounds good. Thank you for the follow. It sounds like that bass sounds good. Like it's weighty. I'm getting some of that string attack. It's nice and transient. It's sharp. It's got a little drive to it, which I think sounds absolutely amazing. But it comes like even on the first verse, as soon as it comes in, when the vocal's in the lower register, it's competing with clean guitars and a lower register vocal. It comes in and it kind of takes over a little bit. That's my only complaint on the mix is I wish that there was a little bit of a better balance between the low end. Everything else is executed so beautifully, so beautifully. Comes in heavy right there. Yeah, there's some beautiful little trills on the outside, the guitar on the right, these little gallops on the guitar on the right side right there. They're beautiful, right? And I think now I'm listening intently, honing in, like I'm trying to find, details of the song and listen for kind of the nuances of what y'all are doing. But I think on first listen, I didn't know half those things were there just because they're getting drowned out by that low end. But I do love all of these little details that are happening in the mix. The clean, picking pattern on the left side, married with a more staccato gallop on the right side. Those little movements right there are so beautifully done. Tone is great. Yeah, that guitar tone is killer. It's absolutely beautiful.
Heavy. Watch me go and throw it all away. Is this the love you asked for? Just hope along the swallow bag. Tread down the same as before. Deep down this rabbit hole, is there a place you would call mine? Although knowing you will be left to conquer and divide. Leveling the playing field, becoming clearer to survive. Tragedy comes and goes, but know that life comes back to life. Watch me go and throw it all away. Is this the love you asked for? Just hope.
It's a great balance. There's multiple facets to the layering of the vocal too that are so tastefully done. You kind of have like 3 tiers of energy. You have your high da da da, these like drones, right? These kind of pedal tones in the background that are just oohs and ahs that are kind of filling in. Those act as like your drone pad in the background, vocally speaking. Beautiful. They're high. They're melodic. They really have a great air and space to them. A punchy, powerful lead vocal. Obviously, the main vocal and its harmonies that are carrying the main, melodics and harmonies here. And then paired with the occasional accent or takeover of the fry screams and stuff like that as well. Those 3 different textural combinations are really powerful because to me, it's the same as having like the double-tracked rhythm guitars plus the lead element over here plucking, plus the palm mutes over here on the left side. Having all these different textures of the guitars make it feel massive, make it feel like it has like a ton of energy and a ton of vibrancy to it. So having that in the vocal texture as well, I think it allows that vocal, for one, even with some of the things I already talked about, it allows it to kind of compete in the mix a little bit better because there's so many different presentations of that vocal with the oohs and ahs, the layers, the harmonies, the lead vocal, and then, of course, occasionally throughout the song, bringing in the fry screams to just amplify and accent these different portions of the song. It's really well done. It's really well done. I love all of those different textures and characters in the song.
To break the fall. So watch me go and throw it all away.
The double time to the halftime. Again, all of these different shifts in energy and dynamic right here, I think are awesome. So well done. Of course, we're closed for today, but we'll be live on Friday.
And if you ask again, will I be dead and spent? Will I feel better than I did? Through all the discontent and ashes
Like right there, beautiful. Beautiful.
be better in the end. Watch me go and throw it all away. Is this the love you asked for?
Great dynamic range. Yeah, it's killer. It's killer.
May drag down the same as before. Get up, break the fall. Watch me go and throw it all away. Watch me go and throw it all away. Is this the love you asked for? Just hope along the swallow bag. Drag down the same as before.
Yeah, I mean, it's beautiful, beautiful dynamic range. The breaks in between. The other thing that I love that y'all are doing dynamically speaking is you never let the same structure of the song go on too long, where it's like we could just kind of get through the rest of this hook, but you do a great job of making sure that we cut every once in a while. We do some breaks, bum, 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 and then break it down, go halftime, go double time. These little twists and turns, even though they're on kind of the same road, these little twists and turns keep you so engaged, keeps you so engaged as a listener to the song. So great job into song structure, formatting, building out the production of the song. I think it's very, very, very well done. For those of you who are asking about music, everything is at the link in my bio, but we are closed for today. I'll be back live on Friday. I have just a handful of songs that we're going to be doing here at the end of the live, and then we'll open up the lines again on Friday. On Friday, I'll be off of the live tomorrow to work on some other stuff. Let me see. Oh, what are the headphones you're wearing? I'm sorry if it sounds like I can be rude. They just look like 2 iron blocks strapped to your head. Close enough. They are 2 aluminum blocks strapped to my head. The headphones are Focal Clear MGs for anyone that's curious. I love them. They're fantastic.
Get all too late to break the fall. So watch me go and throw it all away. And if you ask again,
Beautiful.
will I be
Focal's great. I have some Focal monitors in here as well. I love them. I love them. I love them. Man, show some love. Show some love, man. That's the family. Shout out to John on the guitar. Shout out to Andrew in here. Absolutely amazing. Y'all are fantastic. Fantastic. I mean, so wildly talented. This is great song structure, great energy, great emoting, great performance. Everyone engaged with this song is doing an amazing, amazing job of executing at a high level with tension, with emotion, with skill. Amazing, amazing, amazing job. Y'all, please show some love. Show some love, show some love. John, thank you so much for tapping in today. Andrew, you know we love what you do, man. So incredibly talented. Let's keep the music rolling. We got Skyle in the building. We got Skyle in the building. We got a song called Contemplate. Quick reminder once again that the line is closed to new submissions, but if you are already in line, you can move around. So if you're on the consultation side and you want to go faster, or you want to move around, it's up to you. There's no pressure, but you can still do that even though the line is closed. Well, this is Contemplate by Skyle. Let me know where you're at. I want to make sure that I don't start listening if you're not here yet. I always want to make sure that you're present. I appreciate you so much, Andrew, man. Appreciate you so much. I recorded all the instruments and mixed this for my first. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. For my first song, maybe. Okay, I'm here. Let's go. Let's get it. This is Contemplate. This is out on Spotify as well. So if you like what you hear, go stream it, go like it, go add it to your playlist. Go show it some love. Let me pull it up on Spotify real quick and let's get it rolling. Let's get it rolling. Get it rolling. Ian, I'm a new song in a small town, but yeah, Ian, we'll be back on Friday. Line is closed for right now. Line is closed right now. But we'll be back on a Friday. So anybody that wants to submit music, you want to get your music, your beats, your songs, artistry, whatever heard, then definitely make sure that you're following or subscribed on Twitch, YouTube, or TikTok, and we'll get you in line the next time that we're up, and we'll make it happen. I appreciate y'all tapping in, with the exception of vocals and fiddle and drums. Okay, I've recorded all the instruments and mixed this for my first song. So just for you on the MPC, let's go, Magic. You got the One Plus, right? Or did you replace it with something else? I can't remember. Okay, so the vocal, fiddles, and drums are someone else. So you're the producer of what I'm hearing here. Is that correct? Let me see. Where'd the song go? With the live too. That's right. I couldn't remember. I knew you switched something out. Okay, hold on. It didn't pull up. Now it's going. Let's go. Perfect. Let's go. Skyle, duo, Contemplate. Let's run it. Got some like Lynn drum. Nice. Ways to make me come alive. Before I speak, you read my mind. You ain't awesome. Good vocal clarity for how big those guitars sound. There's those counter melodies. Who mixed this? Oh, you mixed it. Sorry, I'm reading the comments. You got it. Okay. Nice.
Just give me a chance. Just not ready. I care about your details.
Beautiful. Thank you for the rose, Magic. Appreciate it. Come on, found in a barn? That's crazy. That's lucky. Lady Poe, thank you for the follow.
But I tend to running high whenever
Fire and play.
flies inside with the fear of the unknown. Always singing the same song. I don't wanna live alone because with you I feel at home. Still I contemplate.
Come on. Come on, come on, come on. Y'all, show some love. Show some love, show some love, show some love. Let's get into it. That is Skyle Duo. That is Skyle Duo. The song is called Contemplate. It's out on all platforms. Go stream it, go like it, go add it to your playlist, and let's get into it. Yeah, I can see that. Let's dive in. I'm excited to get into this. There's a lot of great textures in here. Once again, we're hearing a lot of the things that we talk about all the time, of like, you know, breaks in vocal structure, bringing in counter melodies on the guitar to fill in so we don't lose any steam. Like a lot of the things that we talk about, they're not rules. Thank you for the heart, me lady. They're not rules necessarily, but they help. And what we're seeing is on a lot of the songs that sonically sound really consistent and are, you know, balanced really well and feel consistent in their energy and their aesthetic, are these songs that have a lot of these things in there. It's good layering and positioning of the vocal structure. It's a lot of these counter melodies that fill in the gaps in between, you know, vocal melodies and stuff like that as well. There's a lot of these rules. There's a lot of these things that are happening. And you can tell all of these songs that have sounded really good have those elements in there. Whether it's a country song like we heard starting off the live, or we have a country record and the, you know, the vocal leaves the mix and then a piano melody comes in, or whether it's a more like modern pop record like this that has a little bit more of that tension in it, at the same time still has beautiful filler. It's very, very well done. So let's dive in. The low strings are a cigar box, a guitar strung with a flat wound bass string and played with the bow. Let's go. Sam Silver, thank you for the follow. I love just the intricacies, the texture, the character of what you're doing. I think it's fantastic. Let's dive in. Let's talk about a couple of the details here, but this is great. That's great. I think this is the only song you have out, it looks like. In fact, let me see. Is your thing even claimed? Devin, thanks for tapping in. We're closed for today, but just make sure that you're following if you're not already. We'll be live again on Friday. We'll open up the lines then. Only one out, working on some more as we speak. Dude, beautiful. I mean, for a first record, Nobby, thanks for the follow. For a first record, y'all are, man, crushing it. You got a good duo photo. I don't think, thanks for the follow, Devin. Is your profile claimed yet? I don't think it is. It usually says here. Your Spotify for artist. I'm looking at some stuff here real quick. Okay, gotcha. Okay, so depending on who you're distributing through, hold on. Depending on who you're distributing through, let me go to the song page here. Yeah, who are you distributing through? Maybe DistroKid with a white labeled DistroKid, maybe. Yeah, let me know, because I can help you not get it set up right now, but I can let you know where you need to go, because that's huge. Yeah, DistroKid. Okay. So you have like middle tier DistroKid, so you can white label your own label for Skyle Duo. Okay, so what you need to do is through DistroKid, you need to claim all of your artists. This is a pretty big deal for tracking everything that you have, and claiming ownership of your account on here so that you can edit information. So you need to go through your distribution. I gotta slow down. This brain, this ADHD is killer. Go through your distribution and claim all of your artist profiles. This is going to be your topic page, so you can align it with your YouTube. Topic page on YouTube. This is going to be your Spotify for artists, your Apple for artists, title interface, Amazon, whatever, like the main DSPs and stuff like that. You need to go through those. You can usually do this through your distributor. I know I use DistroKid as well, so that's how I did it. You can claim all of those through there, just through one of your like settings pages. I don't know exactly where it lives right now, but you go in and you claim those profiles with yours. They'll link ISRC codes. They'll make sure that like your name and your distribution all aligns, and they'll claim that profile for you. That'll give you your blue check and your claimed artist profile on Spotify and all the other places. It'll align all of your YouTube, so you don't have like a topic in an artist page and whatever. It'll get all of those aligned. Same with Tidal, Amazon, Apple, all of that stuff. That'll also give you access to those profiles, so you can go to, instead of using DistroKid, which only tracks things for a year and can be kind of limited in their analytics sometimes outside of financial analytics, which are pretty good. You can keep a more solid track of all of your Spotify, releases and stuff like that. So on Spotify, you can go there and pitch to editorial. You can release early and pitch to editorial, and then make sure that you have like a pre-save link. Like all of that stuff will be done through your Spotify for Artists, and you need to get access to all of that there. So there's some things there. And then what it'll also allow you to do is make sure that you can change your profile picture, your banner, and your description, which are also big as well. There's a lot of SEO on Spotify as well. It's a social platform kind of at the end of the day, where it matters what you like and what you engage with, and the content that you engage in on there, the followings and the way that they distribute content and stuff on there. It all matters. So it is really beneficial to have a lot of those things laid out. And when you don't have those laid out, when it's not claimed, it will just default to having your like most recent artwork as your profile picture. Thankfully, your most recent artwork is just a picture of y'all, and it looks great. There's nothing wrong with that. That's why I was kind of confused at first. I was like, well, that looks good, but I think it is just the cover art. But that will get all of that set up for you, so you can have a distinct profile picture on there. Maybe it's still a nice professional picture of the duo, and then you can do a banner photo. You can have like band photos underneath, like with your about me, and you get up to 1,500 characters of like SEO descriptions and stuff like that underneath that, so you can fill all of that out, tag other bands and artists that you like to create some through lines with SEO, talk about where y'all are from and the background and what you're doing with your music, any tours you got coming up, like whatever, stuff like that. Filling all that out is going to be huge. It's going to get you a lot more exposure for what you're doing outside of even just social media. And obviously it's going to give you, a little bit more leverage when you're actually like getting into playlists and like stuff like that. You'll actually have a follower buildup over there that'll be helpful for you as well. All right, let's get into it. Y'all are awesome. So I want to make sure you get all that taken care of. You only have to do that, obviously, for the most part, when you get your first release out there. The first release has to come out before you can claim it. So that's the first step there. Make sure you get all those profiles claimed. You'll be ready to go. Let's run it from the top. Contemplate by Skyle Duo. It's out. Go stream it. Go like it. Go release it. What am I saying? Go stream it. All the good stuff. Yeah, of course. Y'all are awesome. Y'all deserve to get all that in order and get some fans of what y'all are doing. So let's run it from the top. Let's dive into some details here. But y'all are really, really talented. I also love this like super tape saturated, crunchy, like Oberheim DMX Lindrum style, like really sharp, snappy, transient, dirty drum right here as well. It's really, really well done. I'm just such a fan of the old vintage drum machine vibe. It's a cool feel.
You went and called me by surprise. Where have you been for all my
Also love that movement right there. The walk down right there to the diminish is such a beautiful texture. The progressions are great.
Where have you been for all my life? It's the perfect time because I've got some space.
And the constant like 7 to 6 as well. Like these are like small details, and it's not like they're like magic or anything like that. But having just the tension, it'd be really easy, and it would still sound good if you're just open strumming the chords and you just went through it pretty easily and pretty simply there. But the addition of the walk from like the high 7 down to the 6, all of that little small all those little small movements right there, they add up in like building tension and energy in the song. So I think I'll do a great job of adding those in there without it being too much, without going too crazy. And it's still feeling really jazzy. You know what I mean? Like it still feels like it has some life to it. Y'all are fantastic. I love these progressions. Any genre, YMA, absolutely any genre.
You're my sun that shines so bright. The fullest moon that fills my night. The stars accompany the words you say.
Beautiful. Same thing I talked about earlier too, that y'all are awesome. And again, just great music today. But man, same thing we were talking about earlier, where in this case, this is the opposite, where the first song that we heard had a mono acoustic guitar. So in order to make sure that things still felt vibrant, we had a big wide mix on the overheads and the rooms of the drums, right? In this case, it's the opposite. It's flipped, but the same concept applies. In this case, the drums that come in initially, they come in mono, right? So whatever drum machine or plugin or whatever that was used is strictly in mono, right? So even some of the kind of like spring reverbs, Orby, thanks for the follow. Even some of like the spring reverbs in the middle here, they're all on the track itself, so they're also in mono. And so that makes the drum mix, at least the initial, drum mix right here, fairly small, right? It's fairly collapsed, but y'all have balanced that out by, in this case, doing the opposite of the first song and double tracking acoustic guitars and pushing them 100% wide, right? So the guitars feel super vibrant, they're bright, they're punchy and snappy. Since the drums are very saturated, they got some weight to it, but they're, almost completely in mono here. And so that's a great balance of just making sure if it was the opposite and we had a mono acoustic guitar with mono drums and then a mono vocal and a mono bass that came in, the whole mix would feel like it's all right here. But because we've double tracked, because we've kicked things to the outside, it feels so much more alive, so much more vibrant.
But I did you running high, way down the butterflies inside.
Beautiful.
Even if I stay close, here I go, open up a little, let go, then I turn around.
Yeah, submissions are closed. We'll be live again on Friday. It's a really nice vocal too. I mean, I think all of y'all are very, very, very talented. What a solid duo. One thing I kind of wish I got a little more weight out of the vocal. It's such a great vocal, and everything else is really vibrant and really energetic. But what happens is like these loud double-tracked acoustics, the strumming or the picking pattern on the electrics, all of this energy in the mix, obviously drums and bass as well. But all of this energy in the mix kind of takes over just a little bit. And I don't even necessarily think that vocal, and this is all just taste too. This is a personal opinion. I don't even necessarily think that vocal needs to be louder. I just think it needs a little bit more like mids and low mids. Where right now we have a little bit, it's high pass, I think pretty good where it's actually sitting. But I think that 100 to 400 hertz range has a decent amount of a dip on it. The 100 to 300 hertz, that like low bell curve there has a pretty fair dip to it, so it's thinned out a lot of the low energy of the vocal right there and reduced a lot of its power and its impact in the mix, which is good. I mean, if you're running into some mud or some boominess and stuff like that, but in my opinion, it's like a little bit too low and then pretty bright at the top end, so the vocal can sound a little thin, a little tinny, even though it's a well-performed vocal with a really clean take. I wish it had a little bit more weight and a little bit more presence to it so that it could just compete with how big the guitars are, with how powerful and saturated and wide everything else feels. It can feel just a little small compared to some of these other elements. So I think just either reintroducing a little bit more of that's been cut between 100 and 400 hertz, 100 and 300 hertz, and maybe even pushing forward that like 500, 600, 700 kind of low mid range as well to reintroduce, I think, even like more of the fundamental frequencies of the vocal where a lot of your weight and a lot of your presence is going to lie. It'd be nice to get a little bit more of that. But the actual performances, the structure, harmonies, like all of this stuff, it's beautifully executed. It's really, really well done. That's just one of the few details where I wish we had a little bit more life there so that your vocal could compete in the mix a little bit more. Man, it's solid musicianship, really, really great structure. Callie, welcome in. Appreciate you being here. The queue, well, it got long, but we closed it, so we're going to be live again on Friday. I won't be live tomorrow. So if anyone wants to submit, just make sure that you're following, make sure that you're tapped in. We'll open up the line again on Friday.
Still I contemplate ways to make me come alive. Before
Beautiful.
I speak, you read my mind.
Beautiful.
Temporary or some normal change. Well, I've been wrong, but you feel right. I'm not ordinary like those guys. Play my medicine when I just need a fix.
Beautiful. There's those counter melodies. I brought those up earlier. Those are exactly what I'm talking about, where vocal structure resolves, a new instrument comes in as like the top line in order to fill those gaps again. That guitar is a beautiful example of that. That's good producing. That's good song structure. It makes sure that it's dun, 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 and it doesn't just empty out for the next, 4 to 8 bars or whatever, right? Or 4 to 8 counts right there. But it actually, we refill in where the vocal stops, we refill in with the melody right there, a new top line instead of the vocal. And it keeps the energy there. And especially because it's panned hard left or close to hard left, you get this fresh energy in the mix just because your energy is drawn to something and it's not competing with the vocal because the vocals know what it's supposed to do. So it's not interrupting it. Your energy shifts over to the left, but those are really great little production details there that I want people to pay attention attention to, because now we've heard probably 3 or 4 really solid, good quality tracks today already. Almost every single one, if I'm remembering correctly, had those elements in there of different elements in the background that come in as counter melodies in the background of the guitar right there.
And I just need a
Valentine will be live longer. I'm closing up early today. It's a shorter live today. But we'll be live on Friday, so definitely tap in Friday. We'll open up the line again, and it'll be a longer live. Hopefully, ideally, it'll be like 4 or 5 hours. I'm closing up a bunch of projects now, earlier today and tomorrow. So I'm trying to. It'll most likely be like 2 or 3 p.m. Central, and then we'll be on for like 4 or 5 hours.
face.
There's a counter.
But I tend to running high. And the butterflies inside. You know if I stay close, here I go, open up a little, let go.
It's not too crazy. I've got good turnover right now. So mixing mastering's it's not crazy. There's always probably 3 or 4 people that are on the dock that are in there. But it's not 40 people deep or something like that. I've thankfully gotten to a place where I'm a little bit fresher on the turnover. Yeah, shoot me a DM. I got you.
Then I turn around and shut you down. Are we singing the same song? Still I contemplate.
Great dynamics.
Just give me a chance.
Love it. This is also so good too, because y'all have something that not everyone has, and you're doing it in a really tasteful way as well. This fiddle, and I see it being held in the picture as well. This fiddle and this is something that there's a band, I used to listen to when I was like, 14 years old or something like that, called Yellow Card. Some of you I'm sure know them, but that band, one of their staples of their like more like alternative rock, punk rock stuff was having a violin, having a whole section there. We're full. What do you mean? Maybe I missed something. I sometimes TikTok cuts the. Oh, sorry. I missed the next full-time bluegrass musician. Okay, that's it. Yes. No, you're good. I was like, we're full. I didn't know if you were talking about my line, which I said was closed or something. You're totally good. It happens. Full-time bluegrass musicians, but we love jazz and pop. Yeah, 100%. And so that's why I'm like, y'all have a staple. Like you have an identity that I think is great. Like this is the thing that I tell people all the time is like, find what's unique about you, about your voice, about your recording environment, about the gear that you're using, about the skills that you have, and make that a big part of what you do. And having that sonic identity, I tell people all the time, especially because I'm the synth guy and I have a bunch of synths and I've got a couple more on the way. Because I love the 80s, I love synthesis. Like I have made that a big part of the content that I post. I make it a big part of the productions that I work on, no matter what the genre is. And for that reason, people come to me and hire me for that sonic identity. And so if you're trying to if they just want a trap beat from someone else, then they can get a trap beat anywhere and whatever. But if they want one with a bunch of analog synths, Mike Dean style stuff, then they kind of know that there's this more specific lane that they can go to. So in the same vein, it's like y'all have a fiddle and y'all are great musicians and you have this identity to your sound and your aesthetic. This is a great opportunity for y'all to obviously promote that, to be posting content with it, and actually make it a part of your whole kind of world building here as well. Because again, that's something that's unique. Having these solos in here, having these layers of fiddles and stuff like that in the background is a really, really interesting aesthetic that not everyone is going to have, right? It's going to be something that sets you apart a little bit. So I would lean into that as much as you can.
Just not ready. I care about your details. I don't know your genuine. Do what I bring on a daily. You're on the same.
Love that tension. I love the tension. I mean, like, yeah, you said if you're like musicians, then you know the deal here. But the tension in your chord structure and your progression is so tasteful. It's so tasteful. I love it so much. Again, these are aspects of the music that make it feel unique. It makes it feel special. There's lots of dissonance. There's lots of tension in the way that you're building chords. Nothing ever feels like it's consistent and it's linear and it's right on the nose. It doesn't all feel just like quantized and overproduced. It feels like there's nuance and it feels like there's tension in everything that you're doing, which I absolutely have, while still feeling bright and poppy, you know, like you still have this bright poppy feel. Sounds good, man. I appreciate you so much, Valentine. Welcome in, and thank you so much for sending the message. I'll get to that as soon as I can. But you still are honoring the, you know, the aesthetic that you're trying to build as far as the, you know, the genre that you're working in and stuff like that. But you're bringing in the things that are core identities of your sound, which to me is a superpower if you have it. And to be honest, not everyone has that. There's a lot of people that are using the same tools and the same sound design and the same loops and the same splice thing and the same whatever, the same plugins, same, you know, whatever it may be, and it can, you know, the same get good drums, you know, in the background or whatever, and it can make a lot of music end up being, you know, kind of put into this bubble, and it can make things feel like they're all one and the same and monotonous. And I think what y'all have is the ability to break out of that, just because there's, you know, antiquity to what you're doing and it feels unique and it feels special. So anyways, let's get a little deeper into this outro here. But I think y'all are awesome, man. Very, very, very talented, very, very talented. Like I said, wouldn't mind a little bit more weight and punch on the vocal. Maybe even some saturation would help to just open up some of those harmonics and give it a little bit more presence in the mix. But as far as like structure goes, musicianship goes, progression building, I think it's fantastic. I absolutely love it. Thank you for the follow.
But I tend to running high with everybody
It's got a little, it's different. So I'm not saying this is in line or it all sounds like this, but it's reminding me in some senses of like early Maroon 5, Maroon 5, like some of the early records, tonal qualities of like the vocal and just these like bright poppy organic mixes. That's some of that texture there is reminding me a bit of that, which I love, man. I think that's a great sound for y'all. Thank you for the follow, Redwood. Beautiful. Great voice. It's such a good structure. It's so concise. Let's go, man. You can tell you're professional musicians because there's nothing out of place. There's nothing that's there by accident, especially if you have been doing work together or with other musicians. You have to be able to learn to play off of each other, give space to other instruments, and I think that's reflected in the mix as well. Doctor, thank you for the follow. That's reflected in the mix and reflected in the production structure as well, but there's room for each element to kind of exist in here. They're not stepping, even though you could all go crazy all the time and do all these interesting elements, you do a great job of leaving space for these elements to exist and counter each other and live kind of in between the other elements that are existing in the mix. You've done a fantastic job. So y'all, please show some love. Haley B, welcome in. Appreciate the likes. Are your lives focused on independent music or just music you haven't heard before? Independent music, for the most part. Now people come in that are signed, but what we are listening to is artists and producers and engineers and session musicians and vocalists and songwriters, people that play a role in the creation of music, and we listen to their music. We listen to what they do creatively, whether that's their instrumentals, their productions, full songs, released, unreleased, mixed, unmixed, so on and so on. But they are focused on the structure of people that are working on their music. Thank you so much. The Skyle duo right here in the chat. I need everybody to go follow them as well. Everybody go follow them. Absolute monsters on the progressions there too. I absolutely love the tension that y'all are building. I think it's fantastic. Man, show some love one more time. Everybody go follow Sky Duo. If you like that song, then definitely go stream it, go like it, go add it to your playlist, so on and so on. What plugin can make my SM7B loud? Before you get a plugin, make sure you have an inline preamp or a preamp, a good quality preamp, but ideally an inline preamp. If you don't have an inline preamp, that would be like so what I use. I have an SM7B actually. It's in my locker, mic locker. But I have an SM7B. I use what's called a Triton FET head. It's an inline preamp. It boosts it like 28 dB or something like that. So you can get something like that. Those are like $80, or the classic that most people use is called a Cloud Lifter. It's a little blue box. It's an inline preamp that you plug your microphone in there. It gives you another 20 to 30. I can't remember. It's like 28 dB of gain or something like that. That's going to make it loud. Otherwise, you'll have to crank your interfaces preamp, and you're not going to get nearly the level of amplitude or gain that you need. So you're going to get a lot of self noise. You're going to get a lot of issues for doing that. So if you have an SM7B and you don't have if you don't have a preamp, you're going to want to get one. Now, of course, you can just get a rack mounted preamp if that's helpful. Even a cheap one would help. Would help give you some more gain. But you want a low noise clean preamp to give you some tech, or give you some amplitude. I recommend the FET head. It's half the price of a Cloud Lifter, and I think it does the same job, if not sometimes better, depending on who you ask. Triton FET head, fantastic. Or Cloud Lifter is like the classic. Or If you haven't bought an SM7B and you're wanting to, they also have one with a built-in preamp. But I would think that an outside inline preamp is probably a better quality preamp than the one that's built into the 7dB. But either way, you just need a preamp, and that'll give you a 20 to 30 dB boost, and then all of a sudden you can turn down the gain on your interface, and you won't have to worry about your noise so much or turning it all the way up. But let's keep it rolling. We got Bardo in the building. Bardo, hop in the chat. Let me know that you're here. Let me know that you're here. Let's get into this next song. We're moving and grooving. We got 3 songs left. And then we are going to be out of here. We'll be live again on Friday. And Friday will be long. Today is short, so we're not doing that much. So we're not doing too much. So for those of you, I know a lot of people have been wanting to get their music played, but we're slimming it down a little bit today, and then we'll open up the line for like 4 or 5 hours on Friday, hopefully, ideally, all things willing. All right, so this was written, recorded, and produced by me. Drums are programmed, mixed and mastered by my buddy Connor Haynes. Let's go. Let's see. Steven said I use Cathedral Pipes Durham for my SM7B. I don't know if I've heard of that. That's interesting. I need to check it out. Next single, July 13th. What's up, Tinker? Welcome in. Appreciate you being here. This is another release song. We got a lot of release songs lately. This is Scrape and Claw by Bardo. Let's open it up on Spotify. Let's get into it. Now, I have the details that you put there in the chat. There's anything else you want me to know? Let me know. Damn, that comes in hot. I'm going to keep the line for... Oh, what do you mean, Brett? I just to double check and make sure that I... Thanks for that. Thanks for that, Marty. We're about 7 seconds too late. God damn it. We're about 7 seconds too late. Okay, let me back it up here a second. Brett, if you're in the consultation line, you're gonna get hurt today. If you're in the consultation line, you're hurt today. The free line resets all the time because otherwise there'd be hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people in there. I get today I closed it early and we still had I think 14 people. Yeah, and I closed the line literally within the first song and there was already 14 people there. If you're in the free line, it'll reset. If you're in the free line, because otherwise, like yesterday, I was live yesterday for 4.5 hours. We had 35 people in the free line. That's not counting, I think, like the 12 or 14 that we had in the consultation line. So it's if I kept them all there all the time, it would just, the list would be forever. And then if you were there today, you would be behind the people from yesterday, and you'd be like number 46 on the list. Like it would just be too much. If you're in the consultation line, we're getting to everyone. I always, if you're here, I'll always listen to whoever's there as the priority, and then I'll get to as many of the others as I can, depending on the time that I have. Today, like I said, is shorter, but we'll open it up on Friday again. I make music, but I have no idea how to post songs on Spotify. Yeah, you just need distribution, independent distribution. There's some cheap ones, there's some good ones, there's some ones that have issues. Eddie, thank you for the follow. I use DistroKid and I have for like 14 years, and I've had 0 issues with them. But there's CD Baby, there's TuneCore, everyone has. Lander has distribution, BandLab has distribution. There's distribution everywhere, but that's what you need. You need a distribution, source in order to get it to all the different platforms. You upload your music, your metadata, and your information there, and it sends it to all the major DSPs. They're pretty cheap. I mean, I have a label account with DistroKid just because I'm working on a lot of different music for a lot of different people. So I have a label account, and it's like $80 a year. It's cheap. I have to maintain all of my music on there, which is like another $50 a year. But CD Baby's cheap, TuneCore's cheap. A lot of them are, Symphonic is another good one that I know a lot of people love. That's like $20 a year. There's a ton. Yeah, I mean, I could probably list off 10 other. Now everyone has distribution, but they all largely do the same thing. It just depends on, like, do they have decent customer service? Do they have good tools that they offer you for the price that you're paying? The thing that I like about the label account that I have with DistroKid is I'm able to do file replacement. So if like we update a mix on an artist song or a client of mine or whatever it is, we update a production for someone, we can actually go into that file within their ISRC and have everything linked and replace the file with an updated one that sounds better. That makes it that makes it nice. That makes it nice. So that to me is like worth the extra $50 a year or whatever it is. And it does a good job. It does a good job. All right, let's get it. Let me turn this down a little bit because it's mastered loud as hell. This is Scrape and Claw by Bardo. Let's dive in. Yeah. Exactly.
The pressure is building. I can feel it in my head. So my body is sinking. I'll kill the sun. again.
What's up, Raymond? Welcome in. Or Raymona, welcome in.
Stripe and claw to reach my gun. And games stripe and my will shall be done. I know the price. I have enough.
7-string detuned? Is that a 7-string detune to the F? Yeah, nice.
Gods or monsters. Lay in the battalion.
What's up, C? Good to see you, man. I hope you're doing well.
Stripe and claw.
Thank you for the follow. Nasty. Any genre, any genre.
Stripe and claw.
Killer, killer, killer. Let's go. Let's go, let's go, let's go, man. Show some love to Bardo right here in the chat. I believe that's Marty. I think Marty B is the artist, Bardo. Scrape and Claw is the name of the song. It's out on all platforms. Go like it, go stream it, go add it to your playlist, so on and so on. Let's dive into it. As far as I can remember from the note that they put earlier, they did everything. They produced it, they mixed it, they performed it, so on and so on. But yeah, you got a heavy gauge 7-string detuned all the way to F. So we're B, E, B all the way down to F, or 5 semitones down. You must have some thick strings at the bottom there to hold tuning. Absolutely killer. Absolutely killer. Doing both guitar and vocals live. Let's go. Y'all show some love to Marty B. That's Bardo. That's the artist that we just heard. For those of y'all asking about music, we are closed for today, but we will be live again on Friday. We'll be live again on Friday. I will not be live streaming tomorrow. I'll be working on other projects, but we will we'll open up the line again on Friday. Hopefully, if I can complete more of the projects I was working on earlier today, since this is a short live, and the projects tomorrow, I can just have a half day where I finish up some revisions and go live a bit longer to get to more music. Open up the lines again to get a few more of y'all in here. But yeah, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful job. Let's get into it now. Quick note: this is stylistic. This is a preference thing. This is not right or wrong. This is subjective, right? One of the things that I kind of wish, Timothy, thank you for the follow. You said you mastered this to negative 3.5 LUFS. I think integrated is what you were talking about. So this is loud. This is loud. It is a brick wall of information across it. So we've pushed everything to its limit, soft clipped to its limit, compressed, limited to its limit, literally, in order to get as much loudness out of this as possible. The only thing that's happened, though, is we have lost kind of any ability to have dynamic range. And dynamic range, to me, is what makes the big moments in the song and the crazy thick moments in the song sonically important and impactful. If you don't have any breathing room, then those bigger moments don't matter as much. Crazy things you do vocally, the intensity of the guitars, the blast beats, between kick and snare, they don't have as much impact because everything is always at 11 all the time. And there's a couple little breaks in here that we shift energy, of course, right? I'm not saying the whole song is there, but I would almost rather, personally speaking, you do it to -7 and have a little bit more breathing room for the drums, because the drums they're squashed, right? They're super, super squashed. I would almost rather a 3 or 4 dB quieter, it'll still be crazy loud, quieter master, and a little bit more breathing room for the mix to come in and really crunch up and still break up at the top and give it some punch and give it some slice, without it robbing you of the natural dynamic range of these different elements that you have, because it then just becomes kind of umbrella of noise in the middle of the mix, as opposed to hearing these crazy guitar riffs and these crazy harmonics that are coming in, and obviously like the distortion and the clipping that's happening with the vocal. That's like my gut reaction. Obviously, what you're doing. This one is that totally understand. Other songs are going to be more 100%. And when I say dynamic too, I don't necessarily mean, because I know it's hard to. The engineering language is always just weird too. I don't necessarily mean that it needs to get like quiet and loud or whatever. It's just when I hear that like the snare wants to cut in and it's being pulled way to the back of the mix, right on the drum side. Like I hear it snap. And I hear it being pulled back by 8 dB instead of allowing me to, like, when that snare comes in, it hits me in the chest. You know what I mean? Or I can feel like the kick is the kick on the blast beats is trying to create all of this tension, but because everything is on multiple stages through your buses and into your master are being suppressed, that you actually don't feel any of it cut in and punch into the mix. That's kind of what I'm listening for. Not necessarily that it needs to be like quiet and then loud, just less reduction in order to allow for the elements within your mix to actually have their moment and have their power in the mix. That's kind of what I'm listening for. Obviously, this takes skill. Your vocal is crazy. These like false chords and fries are really, really intense. You have great vocal technique, and this is not an easy thing to do. It takes a lot of skill. Programming is great. It sounds very natural while still being very, very high tension. Obviously, guitar is nuts. You're detuning like crazy all the way down to F on the low B, and that's nasty. It sounds so heavy. It has so much intention. So there's so many things that I love. I just wanted to get that one little part out of the way. It's like, even, in the pursuit of loudness, even like -6, -7 is beyond plenty. And then it'll still sound like a wall of sound. It'll still sound like a wall of sound, but it'll actually allow more of the sound to like reach you and impact you. Okay. I was trying to emulate a producer named Randy LaBouffe. I don't know how to spell his last name. And he has super slam mixes with hella low. Yeah, 100%. I get it. And that's why I always want to preface, like, these are taste things, what I'm saying is not like the right way, and what someone else is doing is the right way or the wrong way. It is just taste. And I can kind of dissect like why I think it matters and why I think it changes things. But at the end of the day, you have to do what you feel like is going to be the most impactful and most authentic to your creativity, and also what you know or feel like is going to connect to your fan base, your audience, the people that you are, engaged with as far as like releasing your music. So that's why I always want to preface that of just being like, hey, this is what I feel. This is what I think is happening in the mix. This is what I feel like is could also be the result of what's happening in the mix, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it is correct. It just means it's a perspective. Mr. Mike, thank you so much for the gifts. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate it so much. Thank you for tapping in. We're closed for today. And Marty, I appreciate you so much. And let's run back into the song. Let's get into the details here. But we are closed for today as far as submissions go. Thank y'all for tapping in today. I appreciate all of the follows and the gifts. Y'all are amazing. We'll be live again on Friday. It's a short live today, so I'm only taking a handful of songs. But we'll be live again on Friday, and then we'll open up the line. We'll be live for like 4 or 5 hours or so. Mr. Mike, thank you so much for your generosity. I appreciate those gifts a lot. All right, let's get into it. This is Scrape and Claw by Bardo, which is Marty right here in the chat. You're obviously very, very, very talented. Crazy. Welcome in.
I'll kill the sun again.
You are doing even with all the things that I said earlier, which you can obviously ignore, but like even with what you're doing here, you are still getting fairly good separation and distinction between the different elements in your mix here, man. Like seriously, you're doing a good job of slicing through these different elements, creating space for that vocal, a powerful wall of sound with at the very least the double tracks, if not quads, with the lead riff over the top here. Like you have so much great energy in the background of the mix there. I think you're doing a fantastic job. Even given things where I'm like, yeah, I wish this cut through. I wish this was more open. I wish there was some space here. Even with that, I think you're still getting great separation from your drums, good clarity on these really driven vocals as well. Bradley, welcome in. Thanks for tapping in. Retrack is in the building. What's up, Retrack? Thank you for the heart me. I appreciate that a lot. What would you do, or how would you verify your price for mixing and mastering for it to be not too little, too big? I mean, sometimes, it depends on how long. Ashley, I appreciate the follow. Thank you for that. Just new here. You're one of my online crushes. Okay, nice. Thank you. I'm flattered. Guitars are 10 layers, 5 on each side, 3 hard pan, 2 half pan. Killer. Crazy. Retrack, so good to see you, brother. Hope you're doing amazing. I wanted a specific mid-range, saturation, articulation, and I love blending. Yeah, you've done a great job. I mean, it's a crazy wall of sound, but you can still hear kind of what's going on. Like I said, every once in a while, I wish certain things were allowed to move forward a little bit more, but at the same time, I can still distinguish the drums with the blast beats. I can still distinguish all these other layers that you have in there. I think you've done a good job considering how much energy you have in the mix. As far as do you verify your price for mixing, mastering? Okay, so, Klein, a lot of this just has to do with your experience and what the market says about what you're doing. If you are charging $50 for a mix and master, and you have 100 people in line to do it because you're amazing at what you do and you have a lot of experience, you've been doing it for 15 years or whatever, whatever it may be, you got to raise your prices, right? And a lot of it just comes down to, what are you skilled at? Are people knocking on your door? Is there word of mouth spreading? Are you actually getting clientele? Do you have the experience and the tools to back up what you're charging? Whatever it may be, right? It's not even necessarily about credit, but and like the people that you've worked with, because that's a lot more on the networking, opportunistic side. That happens. There's people that grow up in studios and randomly Tory Lanez comes in and they're like, oh, now I am one of the assistant engineers on a Tory Lanez record, and it just happens. Doesn't mean they're the most skilled people. They just had a great opportunity in the right timing, right place. So when it comes to what you want to charge for engineering, I think a lot of it just has to do with your skills, has to do with how long you've been doing it. It has to do with are you in demand in any sense? As I've raised prices over the course of my engineering career, it has largely just been because I was too booked. I did not have time. I was getting way behind on stuff. There was at one point where I had 32 clients that I was working to, and new people come in after I had 20 something clients. So I was like, hey, I want to do an 8-track EP with you or something like that. I was like, dude, it's probably going to be 3 months before I get to your song. And that's when I realized I need to raise my prices. I need to push in order to mitigate just the wait times and how long it was taking client to client, because I don't want to be disrespectful and have people waiting forever. And so yeah, that to me is a lot of what it comes down to. And just if you raise your prices depending on your skill level, depending on how good you are at what you do, again, not knowing really much of that at all. If you raise your prices and you get nobody, and you want to get more prices, then maybe you can obviously, for one, look at how you're marketing, look at how you are showing people what you do, look at kind of the proof of that you have the skill to back up what you're doing. And if you're not getting clients, then you can look at your price and you can look at your website, you can look at a couple different things and see what you can do. But yeah, I mean, there's not a cut and dry. There's not a cut and dry way to do it. You know what I mean? It just really depends on how in demand you are and how much of a necessity you feel like it is to raise your prices. What's up, Jenna? Welcome in. Retrack is such a nightmare sometimes, man. I don't know why it does that. Okay, let's get a little deeper into the song here. But yeah, Marty's crushing it. He's crushing it.
My strength and God to reach my God, and games break, but my will shall be done. I know the price, I have enough. I drive my spirit to the soul.
I mean, these are really, even though they're distorted, these are really articulate fry screams as well. It just your compression, not just the plugin, but your compression of the vocal, your vocal support is really, really well executed. Like I'm saying, this is not, even though it's crazy sounding and it just sounds like, maybe to the average person, it just sounds like everything's loud and everything's distorted. It takes a lot of skill to be able to execute that with some level of clarity and that level of support in different ranges of your vocal with a fry scream like that. That's not an easy thing to do. That takes a lot of skill, and it also just takes a lot of support to make sure you don't hurt yourself while you're doing it, while you're learning it. So great job, man. Seriously, I mean, that's not an easy thing to do. Yeah, that's tough.
No gods or masters.
Nasty. And a good split between these like bit crushed, overdriven, center channels, and then opening up into these, in your case, 6 tracks of guitar, 7 tracks of guitar, so on and so on. You do a great job of building these splits, but that split, like we said before, like that split doesn't matter if that mono doesn't happen. If this small filter track, this crush track in the middle doesn't happen, that's what creates the contrast between the center channel and the wide channel when you get everything moving. Yeah, crushing it, man, crushing it. So like these are these little moments. What's up? Welcome in. Appreciate you being here. These are those little moments here. These like double snare hits, right? These huge transitional moments. That's where I want that to punch. Linus calls, for one, we don't listen to popular artists here. This is for underground, independent artists, producers, musicians, engineers, vocalists, songwriters, so on and so on. We're doing 20 to 30 minute consultations, diving into the details of their records. So it's not for popular artists regardless. And also the line is closed for today. We'll be back on Friday. These are those hits. So these are some of those moments where I wish that snare came out and slapped me in the chest. You know what I mean? I wish that it really, really cut through, but it's so suppressed. Those are some of those moments. When again, you can automate some things. You could loosen up the, automate the threshold on the compressor to allow it to breathe for a second and cut through. But if it's always suppressed, then these huge moments that dynamically should be wildly impactful feel suppressed. They feel restrained. Those are the moments, even though they're not huge moments, those are the moments that I'm talking about when I feel like I want a little bit of a shift in the dynamic range there. Nasty though. I mean, just again, great production structure. It's weighty. It's powerful. I mean, you're a beast. So good. Colton, welcome in. Heavy. Nasty. Now, I don't know what's coming on after this, but it's like a random like jazz song that's like after the playlist. But y'all, please show some love. Marty B right here in the chat. For one, Marty B, you need an artist page. You need an artist page. Your name should be consistent across the board so people can find you, support you, fall in love with your sound, your charisma, whatever it is, your image, your aesthetic. Definitely make sure that you have an artist page set up, or just change your name to match artist page. If you want a personal page and an artist page, do it. But the song is called Scrape and Claw by Bardo. Show them some love and support. That's Marty B right here in the chat. But I want people to be able to find you. I want them to be able to search like, oh, that's Bardo, and they look it up and it doesn't connect to you. I want people to be able to find you and love what you do. So man, please show some love. Scrape and Claw. It's out on all platforms. Go like it, stream it, add it to your playlist, etc. Of course, man. Of course. You're super talented, man. I'm excited for the stuff that you're doing, man. Seriously, this is not easy. It's not easy stuff to do. We got Drive Dr. Drive. Let me know where you're at. Get Back by Drive Dr. Drive. Let me know where you're at in the chat. I don't think I've seen that name, so it's probably under a different name as well. Let me know. Time Mind is in the building. What's up, Time Mind? Surprised people don't have music pages before releasing a song. Yeah, it happens. It just kind of depends on, I think a lot of people, they have a personal page, they start getting into music, and then they just never really change it. And I've always had because, my wife and I, we have a bunch of different businesses, and we've always done a lot of different things. So we always have I'm I was an independent personal trader for years. Actually, I still do some online randomly, remotely for different clientele and stuff like that. And I've always just had that business be that business, music be that, that thing. I don't really have personal social media. I kind of hate social media, to be honest with you. I love you, TikTok, whatever. I kind of hate social media, and it bothers me a lot, but you're kind of forced to utilize it these days. It's kind of your billboard. And so I pretty much just use it for business for the most part. A10's in the building. What's up, A10? This is Jackson. This is Jackson right here in the chat. Let's get it. Jackson Robert Aaronsborn is my father. Wait, is it really? I don't know. I've never heard their stuff before, so I don't know. I actually don't know. I think too many things to tap no. I don't have a personal social except face. Yeah, 100%. What's up, A10? Good to see you, man. I hope you're doing well. All right, let's get it. Yeah, let me know some details. I'm gonna read through the message here. We got our last 2 songs here, and then we'll be live again on Friday. We are a post-hardcore emo band from Lafayette, LA. Let's get it, Louisiana in the building. This track will be featured on our upcoming EP, hopefully late August. This is a song about experiencing bouts of long distance with your significant other. Let's get into it. Let's get it. Thoughts on polyrhythms? I mean, that's a very broad. I mean, that's a very broad. It's a very broad question. I don't know if I have thoughts on them. I utilize them where it makes sense and where necessary and where it serves a song. I don't know if I have like a overarching. That's a very broad question. I don't. I just use what is going to be in service of the song as much as it makes sense. But I don't know if it's if I have like philosophical thoughts on it or anything like that. We're a young band. All of us are 19 and our drummer is 16. Let's go. All right, let's get into it. We just got the file here. This is Drive Dr. Drive. The song is called Get Back. The mic is a Neumann M147 tube. I love this mic. It's awesome. It's awesome. All right. It's loading. It's loading. In service of the song is what you create. I mean, yeah, you decide what's in service of the song, but they aren't inherently in service of the song. That's only if you decide that they are. I mean, that's up to you. That's the beauty of art and creativity is what you decide is helpful for creating the vision that you have, the aesthetic, the sound, the sonics that you have. Whatever helps you get to that is in service of that. And anything that stands in the way of that is not in service of that. And so I think that's where it's like, if you're wanting a 4 on the floor straight, push, and you're adding in a ton of different syncopations and polyrhythms and stuff like that, it might not be in service of the vision that you have, and you might be adding something that is muddying up the aesthetic that you're going for, and that could be different on a different song, right? So it really just depends on what you're looking to get out of your music and what you want to happen. Okay, hold on, it's not loading. Give me a second. I'm going to try refreshing. There we go. 100% Tep. Abysmal, thank you for the follow. Yeah, 100% Tep. Exactly, Aiton. And that goal can change halfway through the song. Maybe, Facts. Let me know really quick, Jackson, who I'm hearing here as well. Obviously, this is unmastered, just based on levels. Nice. I like the fuzz. I like it. Live drums. Who's mixing? Nice. Good pocket. Yeah, it's a different feel, Tep. A lot more raw, a lot more organic. Largely it's mixed, but unedited in a lot of ways, which I like. What's up, Katie? Welcome in. Good to see you. Hope you've been well. Thank you. It's been good. Super raw. Yeah, me too. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Y'all, please show some love. Show some love, show some love. That is Drive, Dr. Drive, Get Back, which is Jackson right here in the chat as well. Please show some love, please show some love. It is unreleased, but it's hopefully gonna come out next. Or well, you said August. Yeah, I think you said August. August sometime. I'm actually gonna just for the sake of me being able to turn it up a little bit, because I do want to turn it up a little. I'll do a fake master by just turning it up. I'm going to drop it into Pro Tools because that's as loud as it goes, because it's unmastered as of this point. So I'm going to get it downloaded. Give me just 1 second. I'm going to drop it into Pro Tools. That way I can turn it up a little bit, and we can get this a little bit hotter. Let's see. Let's mute all these other tracks so I don't accidentally play something else. A couple of weekends ago, I was working with Nile Rodgers, if you're familiar. Yeah, 100%. That's amazing. Really cool. Let me see. The difference and just a limiter, the difference a limiter makes in just opening this up a little bit. Beautiful. Now I feel like I'm hearing a little bit more energy here. All right, let's get into it, man. One more time, please show some love to Jackson right in here. Sounds even better live. Trust. Let's go. I love it. I can imagine that. Let's get into it. We got one more track after this. If you are Stevens, if you're still here, just let me know if you're still here. And I want to make sure that you're still here that way, because we'll close up the live with your track here. All right, let's run this from the top. Yeah, 100%. At Bay House, we're closed for today, but we'll be live again on Friday.
Oh, so handsome, out of reach in front of my face.
I really like the live feel. I really do.
Oh, so pretty, but my darling, far away.
Got you. Thank you. Okay, let's talk about just like one quick thing. Hey, we're closed for today, but we'll be live again on Friday. I won't be live tomorrow. So if you make music, if you're involved with music in any way, then definitely get your music ready for Friday. Get some revisions done, get some stuff taken care of, and then you'll be ready to go on Friday. But don't spam the chat. If you spam the chat, I'll mute you, or a mod will mute you. But we'll be live again on Friday. Okay, one of the quick things that I'm a bit interested in. And then again, I don't even necessarily feel like you need to do this for this song. It's just something I want you to keep in mind in the future, because y'all are all good. I really do. Like a lot of people are saying in the chat, I appreciate and I really enjoy the rawness of this record. This is not a song or a band or a style that I want to overproduce. This is not a style that I want to just over EQ and over compress and gate everything down and tune the vocals like hell. Like that's not something I want to do here at all. This should feel like a garage band. It should feel raw and organic and grungy and fuzzy. It's supposed to, right? And I want to maintain that spirit of this genre, because it's so important to the spirit of the genre, right? So I want to preface that, and just make sure that that's clear. That's not what I want to do. One thing I would love on the execution side, they're not going to understand. I'm not. The line is closed. What I would love to hear is better closing. Don't listen to Tep. Don't listen to Tep. He's lying. He's just trolling. The line is closed. I'm not listening to your song today. If you want to submit it, it would be on Friday. But I'm not listening to it anymore. I got one more song after this, and it's not that one. No more songs left. Okay. One thing I would love to hear in this mix is a couple things, and it's better closing. I'll try to explain this somewhat well, and I might not do the best job, but I'll do my best. Better closing of the instrument and of your stops in between lines to help distinguish your stops a little bit better. So you have a lot of like palm muted guitar stops, closed hi-hat breaks, and the vocal lines, of course, that kind of are integrated throughout the song that have some breaks in them as well. We have these boom, 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 these different breaks and these different energy shifts throughout the song. When we're doing those breaks, there's still a lot of noise. There's still a lot of some of the background stuff that we're hearing. So the guitars that like don't fully close. There's still a lot of like string line or a lot of string noise in the background. The feedback, not even just because I love the harmonics. I love the the feedback on the right side there, but there's not like full string closing or hat closing or control over cymbal grabs or anything like that. And so even the breaks in dynamic and break in energy in the background here still kind of has a lot of noise and still has a lot of energy to it. So I don't think we really ever get a break from some of those dynamics, right? Like where we want it to be a really punchy element in the song that then closes and reopens again. We don't really get that dynamic shift because the instruments themselves don't close as much as I would want them to. So I would love in the studio, somebody say the line, just open Darrell, get out, leave, you're done, you're out of here, you're banned, Darrell. Just troll it. Everyone's like, hey, your song's next. And I'm like, what? 45 other people. Filter to the first verse vocals. Yeah, I mean, those are some stylistic decisions, of course, you can make. But what I'm listening for is those breaks, right? So I'm going to back it up here really quick. I'm going to go back from the top here. We'll listen to a couple things here. But that's one of the things, because like I do like the rawness of this. I do like the organic nature of it. I think if we can keep the same raw, nasty, grungy, dirty aesthetic of the song and still polish the execution of some of the instruments and the execution of like vocal tails, stuff like that, I think this would, to me, sound a lot more polished as a record. Not polished of it's like perfectly surgically cut, but polished as a holistic record. That's one of the few things that I'm looking for, because I like the rawness of the actual like performances and the tone of the guitars and the room noise from the drums. I like all that. I want this to feel pretty grungy. At the same time, some level of polish on the execution, I think, would definitely help what y'all are doing. And hopefully, obviously, give you a really, really solid translation to your live performances as well. So let's see. Let me back it up here. Oh, wait, that's back in here. Let me go back to Pro Tools. And I hope I'm making sense. I'll try to call it out in the song so I can connect it a little bit better. But I know sometimes I don't make the most sense. So like here, right? That little hit right there, because the left guitar, again, this is the balance between the two. The left guitar closes slightly, right? So we have dun, dun, and we're doing chucks on the strings, right? So you open with the chord and then trying to close it and then move. You're still getting some harmonics, that's fine. Still getting some harmonics, you're still getting some squeal, that's fine. That closes on the left side, but then the one on the right side, for like the last two of them, the one on the right side doesn't really close at all. So there's an inconsistency of what is like breaking and powerful and like intentional and impactful. And then one of the double tracks there that doesn't close at all. So it keeps the energy in the mix and we don't get that push and pull of these breaks that are happening there. Those are those little details. It's so subtle. I know I'm being annoying too. I'm not trying to be, but those are those little subtle details that make those breaks more intentional, more impactful, because they hit really hard, they close hard, so we feel that shift. They hit really hard again and they close hard. Like those are those elements right there that I'm kind of listening for. Like right there, that guitar runs straight through on the right side, closes on the left side. Get those tight together, close together on both sides, or chop and fade if you have to on the engineering side. I mean, that's different. I don't think you necessarily should do that, but that's the execution side on the instruments that I would love to feel a little bit more polish on, while still keeping the mix really raw and really organic. I also don't mind this like more raw vocal here too. Like I just don't want to over polish this. That's not my goal. I like a more raw, like dry vocal here that just it translates well to live. There's better cohesion between studio and live to studio. What people hear live is gonna be close to what they hear in studio and vice versa. Like that's a good thing to have. I don't want you to change that. Same thing there. Those blend, those breaks in the background blend. They don't really cut. Those little elements there. And the reason why I know I mentioned this earlier, but the reason why I'm even saying this at all is because over the course of the song, if there's never moments where that energy leaves the mix can then just, no matter what the engineer does, because those elements are there, the mix can just start to sound fuzzy and noisy the whole time, right? And even really cool sounding guitars and a cool vocal and snappy drums and all that stuff, those good elements over the long form can start to sound monotonous or grating over the long term if there's too much of it. So if your introduction has those same fuzzy broken guitars, the hook has a lot of the energy there, and the verses also has most of it through, a lot of this verse structure here, then it can start to lose its dynamic range where the song never really feels like it gets tighter and cleaner, and then it never feels like it really goes really big because all of the dynamic range is kind of right in here in the middle. It never quite goes low and it never quite goes all the way up. It's all kind of in this range right here. I would love for it to get bigger, and I would also love for it to have a little bit more of those cleaner moments, and that will give you obviously more dynamic range and more impact in the mix.
So pretty, but my darling, far away.
Same thing here. So there's a great, so that's what I'm talking about there. We have a beautiful, I got a beautiful break right there, and we grab the crash, right? So we have that break right there, and we have the feedback on the right side. We have the harmonics on the right side, which is beautiful. I love it. I love that tension on the right side. All of that, fantastic. In between that, we need a tighter grab on the other guitars and the bass, so that feels really, really strict because we do have the feedback and we do have the grip on the cymbal, but everything else there doesn't quite close up enough to make that feel even more impactful. That's why those matter to me, because if this breaks hard, then that drum is even more impactful. That right side with the feedback and the harmonics on the right side, that's even more impactful because everything's so dry in the middle of the mix that those just pop like crazy. Pors, thank you so much for the ice cream cone. I appreciate you a lot. Those are those little details. I know I'm hammering that home, but those are the details that I'm talking about here. It's a great sound. That's what I'm saying. I don't want y'all to change your sound. I don't want you to change the aesthetic. Y'all are doing a great job. Y'all are doing a great job of pushing this. I think you're doing a fantastic job. I'm listening to your advice. So when we record next month, I have an idea. Let me know. So like even in here, there's so much energy over and again, I like the sonics. I like what it sounds like, but there's so much energy there that we don't get a break. We don't get a break from that dynamic. And I think that's what's necessary to make this song feel like it has more range, it has more emotion, it has more energy. That energy requires, in my opinion, contrast, right? Where when things are more vulnerable and they're smaller and they're more intimate, it allows more dynamic space for things to feel powerful and emotional and anthemic and energetic. And so that's why, like in these moments here, I love when the guitar cuts in, but then this sounds, it's the same progression, right? And a lot of the same movement on the other double track rhythms. So a lot of what you hear is almost exactly what you hear on the hook as well. So you don't get the range. The verse is almost just as impactful and just as loud and just as noisy as the main hook is. And that's all with, again, really liking the sound of what you're doing. All right, let's push forward a little bit. Let's get into this next little breakdown here. Love it. Mason, thank you for the follow. Yeah. All of. Hold on. What's happening? What's happening? Oh, it started playing. It started playing on Pro Tools and the file. Thank you for the follows, y'all. I appreciate that a lot. Okay, let me get into this last section here. But yeah, y'all are awesome, man. I like I said, I love this really raw feel. I love this grungy texture, the fuzz and the energy. And musically speaking, y'all are awesome. I mean, you're obviously very, very talented. You're great musicians. It's got great structure. I'm appreciating so much of what y'all are doing here. I think it's really well done. I love the slowdown too. Y'all work really well together as a band as well. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Y'all show some love, man. Show some love. Jackson, thank you so much for sending this in, man. I appreciate it so much. I know I kind of hammered that point home a lot, and I kept repeating myself. My brain just gets tired at the end of these live streams sometimes. But I really love your sound. I love the energy and the emotion that you put into your performances. The vocal structure is just, it's so emotive. I absolutely love that energy and that aesthetic. And just musically speaking, I think y'all work really well together as a band. I think y'all are really tied in. Y'all are doing things really, really well. So for me, it just comes down to, is there enough range for people to feel it? Or is it so consistent that people start to tune out? And I would hate for that to happen because y'all are good, right? I don't want anyone to tune out. I don't want anyone to feel like they've heard too much of the same sound, same energy, and they start to tune out. I want people to be locked into your music, locked into what y'all are doing, and you have the ability to do that 100%. So y'all show some love one more time. Show some love one more time. All right, we're going to close it up. We're going to close it up right here. This is going to be our last one. Let me take this out of Pro Tools real quick so I don't accidentally play it. All right, we got Stevens in the building. This is Nathaniel by Stevens, or no, Nathaniel. Oh wait, yeah, you told me before. It's Nathaniel Stevens. Here's some more notes on the song. Give me the notes, Steven. Looking for tips to improve the mix. Let's get into it. Last song of the day. We'll be back on Friday. Let's run it.
Just look away, and it's all gone.
Production mixing vocals
Can't
are
place the blame when it's my fault.
a lot of people sending demos,
Try to
Jack.
hide the pain, hoping to wrongs.
Okay, gotcha. It's fine.
Make this right.
We're closed. It's at my link in my bio, but we're closed for today. We're going to be back live on Friday. Nicole, welcome in. Welcome in, welcome in. We'll do a long live on Friday, so we'll get a lot of music in. Today was a little bit shorter.
I've been trying to feel, but I can't wake up. I've been trying to deal, but I'm all out of luck.
This is all done by Nathaniel as well. Let's go.
But who can I trust? I'm just wasting away, and that's not enough. Just look away, and it's all gone. Can't place the blame when it's my fault. Try to hide the pain, hoping to wrongs. Can't make this right. Just look away, it's all gone. Can't place the blame, it's my fault. Try to hide the pain, can two wrongs make this right?
Let's go, Nathaniel. What DAW are you using? What are you using to record?
I can't believe that you waited for me. I can't see what you saw in me. I can't believe that you waited for me.
Cool.
I can't see
Using an SM7B2, right?
what you saw in me. I can't believe that you waited for me. I can't see what you saw in me. I can't believe that you waited for me.
Kind of sounds like it, Nicole. And then I couldn't remember if they told me like an hour ago. I couldn't remember if it was this artist. It's the closest, the plosives. Okay, yeah, the SM7B.
I'm roadkill on the side of the street. Roadkill, and I'm feeling the heat. Roadkill with a bed full of needs. Roadkill, ran off the leash. I'm roadkill, laying in the street. Roadkill,
I like this tag.
in the heat. Roadkill, don't really know what I need. Roadkill, but at least I'm free. Roadkill, I'm
It's a good tag. Yeah, they're very different. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Y'all show some love. Last song of the day. Last song of the day. That is Nathaniel Stevens over on the Red app right now. Shout out to you, man. Thank you so much for sending this in. Let's dive into a couple details here, just mix-wise and then kind of overall production structure-wise to get into some of these details here. But, man, please show some love. Show some love. Show some love. Great job, man. Great job, great job. Nicole said they would absolutely listen to this. Let's dive in. Let's dive in from the top. So yeah, a couple quick things. Like you said, you're using the SM7B. Every once in a while you get, and this is typical with this microphone, but every once in a while you're getting a bit of plosive energy, those P's, B's, stuff like that. Just more wind on the diaphragm of the microphone. It could be helpful for you if you're not already to have a pop filter. If you're not, and maybe you do, you might already have some of this. Because typically with an SM7B, you're recording with a bit more energy, a higher SPL. You're putting some weight behind it, but you're also usually singing pretty close. So because of that, you're getting more plosive energy. You're getting a bit more of that energy on the microphone. Those kind of boomy moments on the mic. If you're not using a pop filter, I still would. They make small ones too, but I would if you're not already, still use a pop filter on it and just have it maybe an inch off the diaphragm. Use it as your measurer, kind of have it like an inch off of the grill, not the diaphragm, because the diaphragm on the SM7B is about an inch back. So you obviously have the longer grill on the SM7B, and the diaphragm is like an inch behind the front of the grill. So if you give it another inch outside with the pop filter, that will help mitigate some of the plosives and the sibilants and stuff like that. You don't have to deal with sibilants as much on an SM7B. It's just not nearly as sensitive, especially in the high end, as a condenser microphone, but it could be helpful to have a little bit of diffusion there. That will help with some of the vocal quality in there. The other thing I want to break down is just a couple little mixing details. Obviously, that's why you're here. That's what I see in your message here. So I want to talk through a couple of those details there. Some of it's in the production itself, and then some of it is just in the actual balancing of the mix. Let's run it from the top. Let's get into it. But I like the energy. So there's a lot that I love about it, though. I like the energy of the song. I like the emotion behind your performance. I like the way that you're building dynamics. You do a good job of pulling and taking away and building back elements in order to create a really, really broad dynamic range. I think all of that's great. So that's what I want to dig into really quick. We'll mainly focus on that quality. All right, let's run it from the top.
Just look away.
Love the early introduction of your vocal as well. I think that's great. Also, I know I'm going to keep this in mind as well. There's like a 7-second delay going to YouTube sometimes. It's just the way that it ships over there. So there might be a little talking over answering questions that I've already asked, like whatever. I'll do my best to read between it, because sometimes it's even longer. Sometimes it's like 8 seconds later on YouTube. I don't know why. All right, but let's get into it.
And it's all gone. Can't play
Sorry about that.
when it's my fault. Try to hide the pain.
I love this like dark slap echo, like really quick response right there. I like the energy of this right here. This whole early production here, I really like.
Hoping two wrongs can make this right.
Okay, really quick. This happens later on in the song, but I'll talk about it now, so I don't have to spend too much time on it later. One of the things that I think your next investment should be some manual tuning. The only reason why is because this is a pretty raw production and a pretty raw emotional performance from you. What I would love to hear is a more transparent process on your vocal, more transparent processing on your vocal. Right now, because of the way that things are processed, I kind of hear everything that's happening. I can like hear the compression kick in. I can hear the auto tune shifting the notes, and everything else feels really raw, really open, really natural, and really organic. I would love to get more of that out of your vocal, and the way that you would get that out of your vocal, and you still, connecting it to a key would be manual tuning. I use Melodyne. Maybe you have it too, but I use Melodyne for stuff like this. If you can control modulation, you can control transitions between notes, manually through Melodyne if you want to. That will allow you to place those notes exactly where you want them to be, dun, 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 and keep it like right in line with the scale that you want without even having to add auto-tune. You don't even have to. If you want to add auto-tune, then you can add it with like 50% humanized, 50% flex tune, so your held notes have a little bit more wiggle room before it starts to correct it, so it doesn't sound unnatural. You can keep your retune speed at like 40 to 50 milliseconds, so it only if your note is falling off by a pretty decent amount, after a pretty decent amount of time, it'll correct it lightly up really naturally. Like that will allow your vocal to be very transparent as far as the tuning goes. I use Melodyne and Antares Autotune. Maybe I need to tone back the autotune or remove it. If you're using I would, because the thing is that for me, I just start hearing the processing. I start hearing the corrections outside of hearing the like stylistic decisions that you're making, and I'd rather hear the style. I'd rather hear just like the genre. And again, everything else is really natural and really smooth. So one, if Melodyne has polished everything for you, try bypassing autotune and see. And if you want to use autotune, like I said, just make it very natural. Put it at like, or you can also with autotune, you have the ability to select how sensitive it is as well with the mix. You can determine how sensitive that is. So instead of having it at 100% or whatever, maybe have that at 50%. So it's not grabbing as many notes. It's letting a little bit more fall through naturally or like bend into a note a little bit, and it sounds a little bit more transparent. I think that would be helpful. And or use autotune. Like a lot of times when I'm working with an artist that wants a more natural sound, we'll use Melodyne obviously and autotune, and we'll go back to back. Melodyne, I just use ARA and Pro Tools. So on Melodyne, it's just like it's printed to the waveform. That's not the sense. So that would be the sense is 100 cents per semitone. So that's where the sense come in. The sense kind of determines the note that's being hit. So if you're on between a C and a C sharp, there's 100 cents. I'm so jealous of those headphones. If you get a chance to get your hands on them, they're amazing. You'll love them. I think they're the best sounding headphones out there. But yeah, the difference between one semitone is 100 cents. And so with auto-tune, if you are singing halfway between that, like let's say you're flat, you're trying to hit a C and you're flat by 30 cents, it'll correct it up to that semitone. If you're flat by 60 cents, it might actually flatten it to a B, and that's where you get all those weird twitches in the autotune where it's doing some funky stuff, right? It's correcting to a note that's not your intended note because it's too flat or it's too sharp, and it's correcting to something outside of what you're trying to hit vocally. But the sense are just that is the increment in between each semitone. So between one semitone and the next is 100 cents, and so between a full step or two semitones would be 200 cents, so on and so on. And then autotune will always just correct to the closest one. And that's why Melodyne is good, because if you are, like we talk about all the time, if you are like halfway between a note and it's correcting to the wrong one and you want to correct to the right one, just place it there and it'll do it'll have a much easier time correcting to the note because it's already placed largely there, even if there's some variation. Okay, so yeah, what I would do if you're already using Melodyne and it sounds pretty natural, one is you could try bypassing autotune and see if you like the sound. If you don't, that's fine. You can either fine tune Melodyne and make that a little smoother, better modulation control, whatever it may be. Like you can chop through Melodyne a little bit more in intentionally and make it feel like it's a little bit more direct. And or if you're still going to use autotune, if you're going to still use autotune on the back end of using Melodyne, then I would just soften it a little bit, right? If your retune speed in this case is 25, 30 milliseconds, back it off to 45, 50 milliseconds, more natural flex tune, more natural humanize, maybe not as grabby, turn the mix down to 50 or so on, so that, again, your vocal, although tuned and corrected and manually placed and everything, is very natural. It's very transparent. That, to me, will keep you from feeling like your vocal is too separate from your production structure, where it's like this really raw, organic, double-tracked acoustic guitar and like pianos and acoustic drums, and then hearing the transitions and tuning on your vocal. If you soften that, I think you'll have a more natural sound overall as well. JJ Music, welcome in. I appreciate you tapping in on the Purple app. That is similar to what we're doing here right now. This is actually our last song of the day. But I will be live on Friday. So just make sure that you're following on Twitch. Make sure that you're locked in over there, or TikTok or YouTube. We're live on all of those right now. Make sure that you're following, and we'll open up the line again on Friday over on all of those different platforms, and hopefully we'll be live for like 4.5 hours. But I think that'll help, because I'm hearing the tension in the tuning structure there, and I think that's part of why it feels a little bit more unnatural. And again, I'm even think, like, I use this example a fair amount, but even with like artists that use a lot of auto-tune, it feels very secondary to a lot of the other effects on their vocal. Like Chris Brown is a good example of this. Like Chris Brown heavily, and he's a great vocalist, but he heavily auto-tunes, his vocals. A lot of artists do. They heavily auto-tune it, but it's not like the first thing that you hear. You hear the vocal, the smoothness, the saturation, the performance itself, and then you kind of like realize that it's tuned because it's so perfect and so locked in. But it's not like a primary identifier of the vocal necessarily, because it's so smooth and so tasteful and so transparent. That's what you're looking for. Now, obviously, you're not Chris Brown. You're not even singing that style, but it's the same idea, where the first thing that I want to hear with your vocal is your performance. It's your emotion. It's the buildup of the vocal and the layers and stuff like that. The first thing I don't want to hear is like auto-tune correcting an issue. I want it to be a stylistic choice, if that's something that would be helpful. Hopping here, trying to avoid the delay from, it's crazy. It's crazy over there. It's wild. How do you make money through music? It is enough to survive. That really just depends on your skill sets, JJ. I mean, the thing that I have done in order to, I work in music full time. The way that I've been able to do that is trying to make myself as valuable in as many different forms as possible. So I do session work. I do full production packages. I do mixing and mastering. And I've done a lot of that for a lot of my life, for over 14 plus years professionally. And I played music long before that. So if, a lot of what I do, as you can see behind me, I'm redoing a lot of stuff in the studio right now. So it's a little messy back there, but I do a lot of like synth. I do a lot of like music session work and stuff like that. So people will hire me to play synths. They'll hire me to play keys. They'll hire me to play on the other wall over here. You can't see, I have a bunch of guitars on the wall. Like they'll hire me to do session work for electric guitars, acoustic guitars, bass guitars. They'll hire me for live. I played drums since I was 4 years old. They'll hire me to play acoustic drums. They'll hire me to track vocals. They'll hire me for a full production suite for me to do all of that. They'll hire me to mix and master their songs, and then we do like these consultations too. I've just, in order to make sure that I can do music full time, I've just made myself valuable in a lot of different ways and built skills and a reputation in a lot of different facets of music. A lot of people find a lot of trouble only doing one thing. Most of the great engineers that I know also do other stuff in the music space. And that's everyone's kind of in a different position with that. But like, I know Grammy winning engineers that they're phenomenal at what they do, but sometimes the engineering is slow. Sometimes you get a big batch of clients right after everyone gets their tax breaks. And then you go through a month or two where there's just a couple people coming in for sessions, or a couple people that are getting mixing and mastering. So being able to rely on other skill sets, where when maybe mixes are a little bit more dry, I'll push to do more session work. When the sessions are a little bit more dry, I'll do more consulting for people's albums and like creative consulting and stuff like that, or collaborative writing with other people. But I'm always pushing and pulling from different aspects of the business in order to make sure that I can still, make ends meet. 100%. How do you make? What do you mean? What do you mean, JJ? And then, okay, and then how often do you stream? Ale, it's usually I would say like 4 days a week, usually, about 4 days a week. I won't be live tomorrow, but I'll be live Friday. So like, it kind of depends. Like I worked on projects earlier today. And then I did the live stream for about 2.5 hours, here. Tomorrow I'll only be working on projects and doing some other work. I won't be doing any live streaming, but Friday I'll be back as well. How much do you make? I mean, I'm not giving out my financial information necessarily, but enough to make a living, enough to make a living and enough to be able to like utilize the tools that I have in here. But yeah, that's the gist of it. But I think if you have multiple tools, like you said, like, let's say you have 5 different tools. If you have 5 different tools, like you're good at mixing, you're good at production, you're good at guitar, you're good at drums, and you're good at session work or sync or whatever it may be, right? If you have all of the tools, try to find a way to break it down, just deconstruct it a little bit and try to make $1,000 with each tool, right? Like if you're like, okay, I have a bunch of synths, I'm great at keys, then through your marketing, through the way that you approach people, through word of mouth, through the way that you build a business and stuff like that, then try to get $1,000 for that thing. If you're a phenomenal drummer, you got a live set, you got all the mics, you know how to mix it, you know how to track it, and you're great at that, market that service and try to get that service to be $1,000 a month. That's loosely what I've done through a lot of different mediums. And not that those are the exact numbers depending on the service itself. But yeah, it's just finding, like, try to get each of those built up, right? And so like I said, sometimes when synth sessions are a little bit slower, I'm tracking drums or I'm tracking vocals or I'm mixing for a client or I'm doing more consultations or whatever it may be. For one-on-one offsite consultations, are they priced? Yeah, they're priced per hour. In the secondary, no, of course you can shoot me a message anytime. Secondary hour is always cheaper. So there's a initial hour, and then they get a little bit cheaper after that if you're going to do additional hours. Like I've done, there was an artist in Nashville that I was doing some creative writing for. We were doing some collaborative stuff. We were songwriting for his upcoming country album, and so we were doing some songwriting and production breakdowns and stuff like that with them. And those were like 3 or 4 hour sessions that they were booking for a couple days to get ready for their album release and stuff like that. So it can be anything. I mean, I've helped people try to figure out some stuff on Pro Tools and learn production structure. I've helped people with songwriting, whatever it may be. But yeah, those are always per hour. Okay, Nathaniel, let's get a little deeper. We talked about tuning structure. Let's keep it rolling.
I've been trying to deal, but I'm all out of luck. I've been trying to heal, but
Appreciate you. Thank you so much, Nicole. Yeah, anytime. Just let me know.
I'm just wasting away, and that's not enough. Just look away, and it's all gone. Can't place the blame.
So there's a little bit of that plosive energy, and that's where I would love a little bit of distance, better diffusion, and the ability, maybe to have a pop filter in front of the 7B so that you get a little bit of space between those, some of the different phrasing and stuff that you have in there as well. Would love to create a little bit more openness there. Okay. Now, getting into this next section here too, one of the other things that I would do is just make sure that you're opening up. You have really wide double tracks on a lot of the rest of your production for like the acoustic guitars and stuff like that. I would love to open up your harmonies a little bit more too. Some of those oohs and ahs, I think you've panned out a little bit. But your lead vocal, you just have a couple other layers and harmonies that are kind of stepping on the toes of that lead vocal. And I would love for it to feel like it's a little bit more open, like it has a little bit more space and a little bit more openness. If they're all stepping on each other's toes, it just starts to build up noise and kind of muddiness in the middle of the mix, because each of those vocals have obviously their frequency profile, but they also have reverbs and delays and processing and different tuning structures and stuff like that. So getting those out of the way of each other can be really helpful as well. And just double tracking those vocals like you did the acoustic, get one on the left, one on the right, even if they're like 50%, doesn't have to be 100% and all the way wide. But you can open it up a little bit to create a little bit more, of an environment in the mix that doesn't feel like anything's collapsed in the middle. Let me push a little bit farther down. I'm going to get into the bigger build up a little bit later on in the song here. How are you tracking these drums here?
What you saw in me.
Thank you for the follow, Lola.
That you waited for me.
They are. We'll be live again Friday. We'll be live again on Friday. Kayla, welcome in. Appreciate you being here. Okay, so on these drums here, just playing a Logic kit, did you quantize them at all? Let me know. Sounds good, Ocean. I appreciate you. I appreciate you tapping in. Yeah, I'm not going to be live at all tomorrow, but I will be live on Friday. My aim is to finish as many projects before that as possible, so that I can do a longer live, get through more songs and more submissions, because there's a lot of people that were wanting to come in today as well. A little bit. Okay, the thing that I just want you to keep in mind, and again, this is taste, this is stylistic, this kind of depends on what you want to do, but I want to make sure maybe like 50-60%. if you're going to have that swing, if it's not going to be quantized and it's going to have a fair amount of swing, or it's going to be off the grid a decent amount, make sure that other elements of your mix also follow that profile to an extent. So like if you're going to have even like a Dilla beat, or you're going to have something that's like a little, it's got some swing, it's got some movement, it's off the grid, and it's not locked in or quantized on the grid, make sure other elements are following some of that profile. Your guitar is really consistent in the way that you kind of approach the timing of it and the strumming pattern. Same with the vocals, same with like the bass in the background and stuff like that. And then these drums come in and they have quite a bit of like a rush on the snare, some swing and some other elements. And so it makes it just feel like things are out of time and a bit noisy and a bit busy in the background right here. These elements right here, you'd probably be better off closer to, let's say, like 90%. It'll still pull some elements off the grid, but like 90%, or just go ahead and quantize everything and then, take all of your hats and move them off the grid, like your hats and your snare late by just a millisecond to kind of push it forward on the grid so it doesn't feel like it's too rigid or too sterile, but it gives you a little bit of swing off the grid since the acoustics are not, VSTs. So you can, create a little bit of movement there. But I think in its current state, there's some elements that are so off of the grid that it just makes it feel out of time, because not only are the drums not necessarily on the grid, but the acoustics, since they're live tracked, those aren't really on the grid. The vocal floats a little bit. So this little pocket can start to feel noisy. Now, I like the sound of the acoustics, sound of the drums are fine. The vocal performance, I like the emotion and stuff like that. But because nothing is really lined up, that's where it starts to feel a little bit noisy to me, a little bit busy and muddy to me. And I would love to polish that even just a little bit. At the very least, like really get into editing and lining up the acoustic and the drums, lining up the bass where it hits with the kick really tightly. So at least the foundation of the song is really sharp and really clean. So like right here, the acoustic guitar is like 20 milliseconds faster than the drums right now. So it's still rushed, it's still in the grid, or it's still in front of the pocket. And then the drums have moved back by 30 milliseconds, right? They're farther outside of that pocket with a bunch of swing. So that's where we're like, we need to at least make sure like the foundational like progression and structure of the song is really, really tight and really, really locked in. But man, I love the overall aesthetic. I love the overall buildup of the song. I really like the emotion behind. So if we can naturalize your vocals a little bit, if we can position your layers a little bit better and line up some of your foundational structure of the song, to me, it takes on a new life. To me, it just opens up a little bit, because the drums and the bass feel more punchy. They're more unified. They feel a little bit more engaging. The vocals are positioned better, so the whole vocal structure feels wider, more distinct. You can hear all the different layers. And then just like timing and energy-wise, it feels a lot more supported. And the vocal mix itself will feel more natural and smoother and a little bit more, organic and transparent. If you just polish a couple of those elements in there, I feel like this will take on a new life, and it'll feel a lot more still raw and still interesting and still very organic, but a bit more polished at the, kind of as the sheen over the top of the mix here. But y'all please show some love, man. Show some love to Nathaniel Stevens. I appreciate you so much, man. Thank you for sending this in. I appreciate everybody that's come in with their submissions, their follows, their shares, all of that stuff. Y'all are amazing. I appreciate you more than you know. Thank you so much for tapping in today. That was our last song. We'll be back again on Friday. Is absolute quantization acceptable ever? I make dark floaty synth pop and I quantize everything. Yeah, that's fine. It's kind of like we say all the time, is it what serves the song, right? It's the same thing with auto-tune. It's like, is zero retune speed ever fine? It's like, well, 100% if you're T-Pain, or that's what you're going for. If you're doing like melodic rap and whatever, like 100%, anything is fine as long as you feel like you have a vision for your song and what you're doing in the processing matches the vision and your, what you want for the aesthetic and the sonics of your song. So I mean, yeah, there's times where I have drum grooves and stuff that are locked on the grid, and synth lines and chords and stuff that are locked on the grid. It just depends on how natural the record. Like if I'm producing a song and it's like live drums and analog synths and acoustic guitars and I'm miking an electric guitar, those are more likely going to float away from that a little bit more, and not be, and not be as locked to the grid. And then, there's other times where we're a little bit more rigid in the production structure. Maybe it's an EDM record, it's a more electronic record, or whatever it may be, or a modern pop record, and we're a little bit more locked to the grid. But it really just depends. It depends on what it is, and just making sure that everything serves in its relationship to everything else is as consistent as possible, right? So like in this case, if like the guitar is like locked under the grid, right? The guitar and the bass are locked under the grid and they're not moving. They're going to be keep going on the 4 and the floor and they're going to move. But the drums have a crazy amount of swing, and so they're late in the pocket and the vocals rush. There's like latency compensation, and the vocals are in front of the grid a little bit, and then everything just feels out of time. Then that's where it's going to feel muddy and noisy. So it just depends. Really, just depends. Like there's times that I really like keeping like even like maybe percussion structure a little bit tighter to the grid, but I'll still keep like my chords on the Juno. I'll put those a little bit late, so there's a little bit of movement there. Has a natural kind of strumming to it. Like it just really depends on what I'm looking to do. Him and Instafollow. We are an animated band that makes synthwave. Synthwave's my jam. I love synthwave. Synthwave is some of my favorite stuff in the world. Fellow Juno, hell yeah. Track Star 4 Blue Moons. Star, we're closer today. We just actually heard our last song of the day. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for joining. I love synthwave. I love synthwave. I mean, obviously, I love synths. I got a whole bunch of them and more to come. They're some of my favorite things to talk about in the world. Is it Amadio? Thank you so much for, I'm sure I'm saying that wrong, but thank you so much for tapping in on the Purple app as well. I won't be live tomorrow. What's up, Frog Queen? Welcome. And I won't be live tomorrow, but I will be live again on Friday. So tap in. Make sure that you're following on either Twitch, YouTube, or TikTok. Subscribe to where it makes sense, and of course we'll be live again on Friday. We'll open up do a synthwall tour one day. I definitely will, Nicole. Once I have I think 2 or 3 more synths coming in the next like week or two. I need to get some orders in. I've been selling some stuff and manipulating some things to see if I can make it make sense. But I have like 2 or 3 more synths coming into the studio. One that's a rack synth, and then I think 2 more for back here on another rack. And so I just have to. Once I get those in, I'll give a tour. I'll give a tour of the synths, and then once I give a tour of the synths, I'll do a whole YouTube video. It'll be a whole thing. So I'll do a whole YouTube video and record everything, and then I'll go through each of the 12, 13, 15 synths, whatever it is that I have, and like show how they sound and like stuff like that. It'll be fun. But anyways, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all so much. Y'all have a chill evening as well. Thank y'all so much for tapping in today. Hopefully we'll see y'all very, very soon.